From Tom Benson Stadium in Canton, Ohio, USA, welcome to the 2015 IFAF World Championship Football Tournament. 7 teams from 7 different countries battling for gold medals and the championship trophy. Hello everyone, Joe Dunn along with Troy Richardson. Glad you joined us. Game 1 right around the corner. It'll be Australia against South Korea. Both these teams arrived a few days ago. And Troy, you have watched them practice. You've been impressed, especially with the 2 quarterbacks.
Well, Joe, both quarterbacks for both teams are outstanding. Kim for the South Korean contingency, very good feet, likes to roll out of the pocket. They'll flex the pocket a lot for him. Good strong arm, pretty accurate. On the flip side, Stegman for the Australian team has a lot of international experience, playing for the Australian coach Latte over for the Dresden team in NFL Europe. So he's used to the bullets flying in good competition.
Of course, we are right in the shadow of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. These teams have all been impressed. When you play right next to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's got to rub off a little bit. These teams are ready to show what they can do.
Joe, they say mathematics is the universal language. Well, this week they're talking football here. It doesn't matter the teams. The same drills that you're seeing these international teams run are the same drills that you ran in junior high, high school, and in college. Football's football, no matter what the nation, Joe.
This is not an invitational tournament. These 2 teams, along with the 5 others, had to win in their region. They're the best coming in here, and we're going to see a lot of good football today, beginning in just a few minutes with Australia and South Korea. Troy, I'm excited.
I'm very excited as well. A little bit of history between these 2 teams. South Korea knocked off the Australians just a couple of years ago in the waning minutes, and I know the Australians would like some payback.
We are ready to play football. South Korea has won the toss, and they've got the football as Eddie Kako with the kickoff. And South Korea takes over first possession of the football game as they move right to left here at Tom Benson Stadium.
Joe, you saw a little bit of a pooch kick there from the Aussies. I've watched them a couple of times. They run about 7 or 8 different styles of kickoffs, from onside to deep kicks to pooch kicks to angled kicks. Look for a lot of different special teams action from this Australian team. Australian
defense big up front, and they have earned their way here to Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio. First game, we've got 3 today, 3:30, and the Americans against Mexico tonight at 7.
There you're looking at that 40 front from the Australians. They'll go a lot of 4-3 cover shell, cover 2 behind against this somewhat spread attack of the Koreans.
Kim going to pitch it out wide. Bad pitch, going to roll back inside the 15, picking it up there, and he's going to be down all the way inside the 5-yard line on a big defensive play by Australia to get it going here at Tom Benson Stadium.
Just a bad pitch out of the backfield on the toss sweep. As you take a look here at the replay, talking with the South Korean coaches earlier in the week, they knew their players mentally were ready to play, but they're just worried about the timing and the sync. And you see there on the pitch action, they lose about 17 yards in the play. They just can't seem to handle it. Great job there by the Australians swarming, driving the South Koreans back inside the 5-yard line.
Actually a loss of nearly 25 yards, makes it 2nd and 35 for South Korea at their own 4-yard line, lining up in the end zone. That's the quarterback, Kim. Going to throw, sideline, caught and down right there, fumble on the football, and let's see, they're going to call it incomplete. Boy, 2 plays run by South Korea, 1 for a loss of 25, and nearly a disastrous play right there, but they're going to rule the ball down. Incomplete pass.
Just trying to run a little bubble screen, which in this somewhat spread attack is just a long handoff. You see the pass right there. He tries to run before he gathers it. Great open field tackle there by number 15 for the Australian, Maravich, coming up and making the play. Johnny on the spot from the linebacker position, fights off his block, forces the fumble, which they rule as an incomplete pass.
3rd and 35 right now for South Korea. They have gone backwards since their possession started at their own 29. Bad pitch, incomplete pass, and a big possession play here for the quarterback. That gets absolutely nothing. Right into the middle of that Australian defense.
Not something you would want to see from South Korea early on in the game, Joe.
There you take a look at the offense for South Korea. Kim's the quarterback. Jian and Lee will be the two running backs. Wide receivers Kim and Kang, and pretty good tight end there in Lee. He'll wear number 97. 4th and 35. Australia should get a great field possession here on this kick. Low snap. Flying out of there, going to take a bounce. And they're going to down, and then a fumble in there. Let's see who gets it. That ball's going to be picked up, still across the way, and I think Australia has it.
Mad scramble for the ball, and they're going to give it to the Aussies. The Aussies come up with it. And Joe, what you saw there, the timing in that first possession for South Korea, not what they wanted. And an advantage that the Australians had is they came a week ago. They went over to Ashland University, got a couple of practices in. As you take a look here at the replay, a little bit of a fumble. Probably shouldn't have tried to field it there, but does manage to come up with the ball. As I was saying, with the Australians, came last week, practiced at Ashland University, had a mini scrimmage with the United States team, and as you can see, the timing for the Australians, at least defensively, is a little bit further ahead than you have for the South Koreans.
Flag on the play, officials talking back at the 20-yard line. And let's see what they come up with right here. If the play stands, Australia would have it 1st and 10 at the South Korea 44. Penalty against Australia. That's going to move the ball back into their own territory. And they're going to place it right at the 41-yard line. Haven't talked much about the wind today, Troy. That'll be a factor as you look at the American flag off to our left, blowing with the aid, I think, of Australia right now. Let's take a look at the Australian coach right there. You met him earlier in the week, Troy.
Yeah, I've been communicating a lot with John Latte through social media for about the last week. Coaches in Europe for the Dresden team. His quarterback, Stegman, actually plays for him in Germany. So a lot of international experience here for the Australian football team, the Outback team, as they like to be called.
Stegman back in the pistol on 1st and 10 for Australia at their own 41-yard line. Their first possession of the football game. The flag goes down. Looked like the right side of that South Korean defense jumped.
Looked like it was on number 35 there for South Korea. A couple of number changes here. But what you saw there was the Australian quarterback. He'll do a lot of checking at the line of scrimmage, and you'll see these Australian wide receivers. They're going to adjust their routes depending on how the linebacker and how the secondary is playing coverage on them.
Well, he was pulled off sides. They're going to count 5 yards against Australia, take it back to the 36-yard line where it's 1st and 15. Jared Stegman, the quarterback, going to get it. And nothing going right there as the Korean defense comes in with a big defensive play back to the 31-yard line. Boy, the left side of that Korean defense wasn't fooled at all.
Well, they weren't fooled at all because the right side of the Australian offensive line came off like a typewriter. As you take a look here, Joe, at the Australian offensive
Yeah, we
starters.
talked about Stegman, the quarterback, a lot of experience. He'll wear number 3. Foley and Gardner are the running backs. Pretty good wide receivers in Riles and Bessie. But you were impressed, Troy, with that big Australian offensive line.
I was, and that was one of the things, talking with Coach Latte, that he thinks his team can hang his hat on, is the physicality that they have up front. And the fact that this line has played together now for a little bit and their timing should be better. But if we can take a look here at that last play, you'll see that the right side of the offensive line for Australia came off like a typewriter. They weren't coming off as a cohesive unit. And that's one of the first things I always look at with a football team is how does the offensive line play?
Injured player coming off the field right now.
Big number 71 for the Australians. That's John Tavisian, 6'5", 302 pounds.
It's like a knee or ankle, but it'll be 2nd and 19 for Australia at their own 32-yard line. Stegman going to throw. Looking, plenty of time. Throws picked off. South Korea coming down inside the 15, down to the 5, touchdown. South Korea, they picked off the first pass of the football game and ran it back for a touchdown. And right away, The small band of South Korean fans across the way are having some fun.
Dubong Yu with that interception there. Number 50, he just jumps right on the route. Great read from his linebacker position. Does a great job of reading the eyes of the Australian quarterback. Jumps right in front of the route, and he just takes that all the way to the house, shakes off one guy for a South Korean touchdown.
Boy, what a way to start the football game. We have 9 minutes and 36 seconds left in quarter number one. Already we've had a few penalties, a few big plays on both sides of the football, and the latest big play results in a South Korean touchdown.
And here you're going to see the extra point coming on for the South Koreans. Very good kicker for South Korea.
And it is a fake, and they're going to down him back at the 15-yard line. That was Park Hun-se, number 11, off the hold of Hun-sing Na, and nothing doing there, Troy.
Well, I think there might have been a little bit of trouble there with the hold, a little bit of the timing there. It wasn't a fake. No one was running a route. He might have bobbled that snap a little bit there. But as I was saying with the South Korean kicker, was watching him yesterday, he was booting him without a rush from pretty good from 45 to 50 yards. We're going to take a look at the replay here. It comes up for the kick, just bobbled it. Can't get the hold down. Tries to go fire drill on that, and nothing doing. Great play there by the Australians, number 13 coming off the end, Marekovic, and we've said his name a few times tonight.
Bad snap, low snap, and Na could not handle it. There you take a look at the South Korean coach, known affectionately to everyone as Bear.
As Bear. Was talking with him, his English is better than my Korean, was talking to him through an interpreter. Very energetic, has been with this national team for many, many years, guided them together, helps bring them together, bringing players from all across the country and even some in from Canada. Great job, and has a passion for football that would be matched by anyone here in the U.S.
Well, the Bear is happy right now because his South Korean football team has come up with a huge defensive play early in this football game. Kick no good, they lead at 6-0. And now the Australians are going to get the football back for the second time this afternoon. Line drive booed, and that is hammered into the end zone. Into that wind too, Troy. That's an impressive kick.
As I said, watching the special teams, one of the three facets of the game, South Korea takes a lot of pride in their kicking game. As I said, he was booting him from 45, 50 the other day without a rush. That could become a very powerful weapon as this tournament goes on.
So let's see how this Australian offense comes out in their second possession of the football game after a Stegman interception gives South Korea a big touchdown early.
I like to throw a little quick inside bubbles here to the inside receiver out of this formation.
1st and 10 at the 20. Second possession of the game for Australia. Staten going to throw, throws that bubble screen out, going to have 5, going to have 10, and out of bounds after a first down and a gain of about 13.
Once again there, he does a nice job, wants to complete a pass plan. I like this. Coach Latte showing a good job, showing confidence in his quarterback. Has the interception, comes back with it, throws a nice short pass, which is really a long handoff, pick up a first down.
Actually, it's close to a first down. Now they're going to move the chains across the way. That is a first down for Australia. Ball now up at the 30. Trying to get some momentum here, Troy, after that disastrous first possession. Staten going to throw. Big rush, throws that screen out. Caught. Going to have a couple yards, breaks the tackle, and is going to fight forward close to the 38-yard line. Let's take a look at that South Korean defense. It'll be Kim, Jo, Nam, and Kim across the front. The linebackers, Jung, Yao, and Wang. And those defensive backs who have already had one big play. That's the strength of this defense.
They're pretty quick. They'll play off the line of scrimmage more so than you would normally see because they have such good closing speed rushing upfield.
Gain of 9 on the play, 2nd and 1 for Australia. Statement going to pitch out on the option. And again, that South Korean defense is there, but a good hard run by Connor Foley is going to get him the first down.
He was just shaking off would-be tacklers as that play got stretched out. Great discipline here by the South Korean defense. Seeing the option, forcing it to stretch to the sideline so that the running back can't go vertical. As you take a look here at the replay, coming straight down the line, makes the pitch. But look at the defense there. They keep stretching it out, misses a couple of tackles, but everybody's there. A lot of white helmets around the football, Joe.
Boy, Connor Foley breaking 2 or 3 tackles to get the first down. Now ball at the 42. Stegman, first man through. Again, it's Foley, big yardage into South Korean territory. Another first down to the 47-yard line.
And what you saw there, Joe, is I think Stegman checked off a little bit. He counted the number of men in the box, realized South Korea's gone with a 3-man front defensively. As you take a look here, only about 5 in the box, checks to the 1. Great down block there by the right guard, and Connor Foley managing to pick up a first down.
Well, the Australians with a very impressive drive after a disastrous first possession. They now have it 1st and 10 in South Korean territory at the 47-yard line. Trips up high on the screen. Stegman again throws over the middle, ball tipped and picked off again. South Korea with their 2nd interception of the football game.
And that one just tipped, but a nice defensive play there by number 36 for the South Koreans. That would be Keon coming up with the interception off the tip ball drill. And Joe, I was watching him do tip ball drills the other day. Linebackers coming up and make the play as we take a look here. Stegman going to get the snap out of the pistol, going to look for the quick slant. Defensive lineman gets his hand up. You got to love when a defensive lineman gets their hand on the ball, Joe.
Well, that is good hands there. Good reaction. And now South Korea back-to-back outstanding defensive plays by that secondary and linebacking group. And they lead at 6-0 as they're in Australian territory at the Aussies 46.
Nice little loop stunt there also by the South Korean defense.
Kim going to go back to throw. Looking, throws a little screen outside. Plenty of room. He's in space. And is going to be close to a first down, but a big hit coming up there by Australia's number 24, and that is, looked like Damian Malloy.
And a little bit of extracurriculars after the initial contact there by Guion, the running back for Australia. Take a look at the replay here. There's a screen, and you're not even going to see a gold jersey in the picture when he catches the football. He's got about 1,000 pounds of beef in front and gets a little upset here after the whistle blows, losing his helmet.
South Korea with a lot of speed, quickness, and right now they're threatening again, leading in this football game 6-0 under 7 minutes to go in the opening quarter from Canton, Ohio. Running back busting through. That is Sung, and he's going to have a first down again. One thing we have noticed early, South Korea with a lot of quickness on both sides of the football.
A lot of quicks up front, and I like how they motion their fullback there. Big number 44, Hawan. He'll come motioning to the left, but he'll come back inside to get that ISO block on the linebacker. Nice execution there by the South Korean offense.
Another South Korean first down, puts him down to the Australia 34-yard line. Flag goes down before the play. Probably should talk about this officiating crew. They are represented by, 7 countries?
7 different countries, 8-man officiating crew. And Joe, you talk about the timing of the team and trying to gel. It's the same thing that the officiating crews have to do also, coming from across the world. Had a chance to talk with a couple of them last night at the international barbecue they had. Excited to be here and excited to officiate football at the international level.
Going to cost South Korea 5 yards. Pushes it back to the 34-yard line. Our referee today from Japan, Nana Hirosu.
Here you're seeing more of a traditional formation the South Koreans like to use, playing without a tight end.
Right back in the pocket is Kim. Going to scramble out of trouble. Has some space and then throws it into no man's land down at the 31-yard line.
Yeah, good pressure there by the Australian defense. What actually comes into a coverage interception. No one was open for South Korea, and that's great coverage by the secondary for the Australians. As you take a look at
the one thing we're going to see here, Troy, you're going to see the quickness of the quarterback, Kim. He goes back, he's going to sprint right, and you can tell right now if he gets into space, he's going to cause some problems.
He is, and that's one thing. He's very elusive, and with South Korea, they're not afraid to flex that pocket. They're not afraid to roll him out, whether it be left or right, and that shows good confidence in your quarterback.
Second and 15 at the 39. South Korea with the football and a 6-0 lead early. Going to run a little reverse, and Australia is there. Didn't fool them a bit.
Nice job coming up on the play is number 5.
That's Damon Malloy again.
Damon Malloy coming up, making another play here for the Australians. As you're going to see, they're going to try a little bit of a jet reverse, bringing the man in motion, trying to get the handoff. But really what blows that play up is also number 47, sitting right there, Scott Wolf, not being faked out, blows it back. Nice job of scraping down the line by Malloy.
Loss of 2 in the play brings up a 3rd and 17. Ball now at the 41-yard line. I'm not sure they're in 4-down territory right here, but they need a big play to get close. Going to send a man in motion. Kim has the football, throws, and it is tipped up and nearly run down. And that was number 92, that Australian defense, Carlisle Jones, who almost came up with a big play. He tipped in and couldn't get to it.
Well, when you look at this defensive line for Australia, they go about 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". They stick a big paw up there, and that ball is going to get tipped. And let me tell you something, bad things happen when that ball goes in the air, and it just hangs there, Joe.
Brings up a 4th and 17. South Korea says, I want to punt it away. Going to try and drive it deep. Good snap. High kick into that wind. Let's watch the bounce. Going to take a South Korea bounce inside the 15. We're going to stop it right there at the 15-yard line. So pretty good defensive field position for South Korea. I think they accomplished exactly what they wanted to pin Australia deep with the ball. They lead at 6-0.
Now, one thing, Joe, we take for granted in the United States is being able to play football at the youth level, the high school level, the collegiate level. These Australian players are paying about $8,000 to come here to play. The South Korean players are paying about $3,500 to $4,000 just for the right to represent their nation and to play in this game.
1st and 10, Australia. Down 6-0, ball at their own 16-yard line. Stegman, the quarterback, has been picked twice today. One cost him a touchdown.
Looks like a blitz is coming from the South Koreans.
Going to hand it off, and bang, down he goes. Good defense again by that quick South Korean defense.
That looked like number 90 there, Rigg, coming in to make the tackle for South Korea. And they blitzed it up, and they time it perfectly to get through the line. It's just a numbers game. As you see, Rigg coming there off the edge, off his blitzing position from the linebacker spot, just outnumber the Australian offensive line, and that's how you make a 5-yard loss in the backfield.
Boy, Foley had no chance whatsoever. He got the football from Stegman, and he was hit immediately. 2nd and 15 now, ball back at the 11. Need a big play here from the Aussies. Stegman going to rush out of trouble. Looking for a block. He has it up the sidelines, and he is out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Boy, if he doesn't go out of bounds, Troy, he's got a lot of open field ahead of him.
Nice job by Stegman, rolling out, getting flushed out of the pocket. But something else you're going to see here is he picks up a key block. He realized he doesn't have anything there. His lineman, okay, he's going to tuck it and run. Trying to get the number of the lineman right there. Big number 63 picks up a key block downfield that's going to allow Stegman to pick up another 7 yards. And number 63 there for the Australians, that's Alamasik, who plays for the Wooden Valley Gladiators back in Australia, making a big block.
Injured player for South Korea down at about the 15-yard line. As you take a look at John Layton, the Australian head football coach, who has a lot of experience.
A lot of international experience coaching in NFL Europe for the Dresden team. Chance to get some plays. As you see the battling kangaroo there of Australia for the team from the Outback.
They should feel right at home down here in Canton, right up the road at the University of Akron. They also have a Australian mascot, Zippy the kangaroo.
Instead of going to Ashland, they should have gone up to Akron to train.
Well, they did travel down to Ashland University, where a very familiar high school football coach named Lee Owens was the host down there. But it's now 3rd and 4 for Australia. Hang on to the football. Stegman throws, low throw, dug out of there, and a good catch, and that's going to be an Australian first down just over the 30-yard line.
Nice hitch route there by number 36 for Australia. That's Garnham. He just reads the safeties playing him about 12, 13 yards. Just comes out, makes a 7 back to 5, catch it for the first down. Now a little no-huddle offense here from Australia.
Trying to speed it up a little bit. Boy, Tyson Garnham, number 36, can play running back. He can play tight end. He's a wide receiver. Does it all for Australia. Ball at the 31. Stegman going to hand off to Foley. Breaks a tackle. But the numbers aren't there, and down he goes after a gain of maybe 1, possibly 2, to the 32-yard line.
Joe, one thing that I've seen with both these teams here is I've counted the Australians have ran 9 different formations so far. They throw out everything. They give you every different look that your coverage is going to see in the secondary. 2nd
and 8 for the Aussies. Ball still at their 33-yard line. They trail at 6-0 with just under 3 minutes to go here in the opening quarter of play. Foley is behind Stegman, and we have seen him run hard here in the first quarter. He just needs a little bit of daylight. Here comes the rush, going to throw that little screen. Foley has it, cuts inside, trying to battle over the 40. He's going to get there. That's going to be awfully close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it.
And what you saw there was a nice pre-snap adjustment by the quarterback, Stegman, as he realized the screen to the left wasn't going to work because of the numbers. Moves Foley over to the right side, makes the adjustment. Take a look here. If we get a little pre-snaps, already moved Foley over. Reads the screen. Nice job by the lineman blocking down. Hold it for a 2.5 release downfield. Great execution there by the Australians.
Boy, I like this Connor Foley. He is a tough runner, good hands, and he's given his team a first down at their own 41-yard line. New running back, big hole on the left side.
Oh my!
Knocking people down, say how you do from Tom Benson Stadium. Nice. Helmets flying, people laying down.
And then that is Lensdell, and that's not a little man in the backfield. That's 5'7", 264 pounds. And you'll see them when they go with their beef package power high pistol.
Let's get the number of that truck.
There is a huge hole, and when you get a big man like that rolling downfield, look at him lower the shoulder, boom! And he just bounces up to pick up another 4 yards. It takes 3 South Koreans to bring him down.
Big play for this Australian offense. Down to the South Korea 45. The big kid's going to get it again. Better get him low. Flag goes flying in back of the play.
Usually when you see something from the backside, they're usually looking at some type of hold, something on the offense. So we've got called here. And it is holding, going to be on the offense, so that's going to back him up another 10 yards. And Joe, they're playing NCAA college football rules here for international football.
Nana Hirosu, as we said, is the referee today out of Japan. He made the call.
But only playing 12-minute quarters. As you see Bear there, he's also talking to his GM. The GM there, as you see in the hat for South Korea, also coaches in the CFL. So he brings a little bit of international experience as he was trying to organize this team from Canada.
I think he's asking the general manager if he got a scouting report on that big running back for Australia.
That's a big man.
He's still back there. Foley was shaken up a little bit. He came off the field. And right now, after a 5-yard penalty, it's 1st and 20 for Australia at their own 45-yard line. Jared Stegman has gone all the way. He's been picked twice, as we said, once for a touchdown. Looking, going to go deep. Looking out there and overthrows Mitchell Bessie at the 35-yard line.
Good man-to-man coverage there by Hee Young-suk for the defense for South Korea. Does a nice job, man press, getting hip-to-hip with him all the way down the field. Nice coverage.
Incomplete pass stops the clock with 1:20 left to go here in the opening quarter. South Korea 6, Australia nothing. But for just one touchdown, Troy, there's been a lot of wide-open play.
A lot of wide-open play, a lot of wide-open offense as you take a look here at international football, or as the Australians call it, gridiron back home.
2nd and 20. Going to throw again. Sideline pass, caught, and going to be knocked out right at midfield. And again, that was Tyson Garnham coming out of the backfield that made the catch.
Looked like it's going to bring up about 14 to go here. 3rd and about 14 is the Australians still trying to force that tempo, going no huddle. Something that we'll see later on today from the United States team.
They're going to mark that football 1 yard deep into South Korean territory at the 49. Going to be 3rd and 14.
See a little 3-3 stack here from the South Koreans, a little shell defense behind.
Stegman taking his time. Going to throw. Going to sprint out of there. Has some room. Looking for a block. Stegman at the 40. Stegman has the first down and is going to get all the way down to the 30-yard line on an outstanding individual play by Jared Stegman. First down, Australia.
And right there you saw the secondary coverage. No one had quarterback responsibility for the South Koreans. There was no one spying the quarterback. So as he drops, he's got some protection. They do a nice job of picking up the initial blitz. No one's there. He says, I'm going to tuck it and go. But look at the speed of his offensive linemen. Those are some big bodies out there in front.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Blocking downfield. I love the agility of the Australian offensive linemen.
Could be the final play of the opening quarter. We're down under 20 seconds on 1st and 10.
Kept it.
Stegman keeps it, and again, he shows his athleticism. Another Australian first down at the 17-yard line.
And give credit there to the fullback, Lansdale, as he just sold that fullback dive. He sold it the whole way. You saw the whole defense get sucked in. Nice job of Stegman, keeping to the outside. He sells that. I tell you, Stegman's kind of a magician with the football, Joe.
Yeah, he's impressive. And he's not seemingly upset by those 2 interceptions. He's playing hard right now, trying to get his team in the scoreboard.
Well, he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of international play behind him. So as you take a look there at Coach Latte for the Australian team, he's not going to panic.
Got another injured player for South Korea on his back at the 27-yard line. Kind of a humid, hot day here in Ohio. Wind is blowing right in the backs of the Australians.
And you take a look at that fiery coach for South Korea, as they like to call him, Bear.
Anytime you've got a coach named Bear, you better play hard.
Yeah, I've known a few in my day that have picked up that nickname, and it's because of the intensity level they like to bring to the game. And you know, some people might think you're treating this as an all-star game. They're not. They're here to represent their country and to win gold. This is their chance to shine on the world stage here in Canton, Ohio at the IFA World Championships.
Big first down for Australia. They've got it down at the South Korea 17. I'm not sure we're going to get a playoff. I think that's it. We have played 1 quarter of football at Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio, USA. Our score after the first quarter: South Korea 6, Australia nothing. We're back with the next 12 minutes of play right after this. Joe Dunn, Troy Richardson, Denny Kincaid back at Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio, USA. Game number 1 of the 2015 IFAF National Championships, World Championships to be precise. One of these teams is going to leave here with a lot of gold medals and a World Championship trophy.
Had a chance to look at that trophy last night, and I'm sure that's something that all these teams would like to take back to their home nation.
Australia going to keep it with Stegman. Stegman looking for a block, and that quick South Korean defense is going to push him out of bounds, but he's going to get down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
I tell you, he's been pulling that ball out pretty soon here. He's going to leave it in that running back's belly, and that offensive line is going to move some beef up front. As you can see here, I know talking with Coach Latte, the head coach of the Australian team, he wants that 50-50 balance run pass. You see there, even faked out our cameraman on it as Stegman kept it around the end. He wants to keep that 50-50 balance of run pass.
2nd and 1 at the 8. Australia trying to tie it up and then take the lead. Handoff. Big fullback again. Look at him carry people with him. Still can't get him down. And he's going to take it inside the 3, maybe to the 2, down to the 1.
As I said, Joe, Stegman's pulled it out the last couple of times. Eventually, he's going to put it in that belly. And I think now you're going to see a beef package coming in here for the Australians as they give it to the big fullback right up the gut here. Gets a lead blocker. And he literally drags South Korean tacklers, would-be tacklers, for about 7 yards.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to come out in that pistol power eye where the coach says we put about 1,000 pounds of beef in the backfield.
Well, they got 264 pounds of running back in Nate Lansdale, number 37. And I'll tell you, when he hit the line of scrimmage, there was white shirts bouncing off him all the way down to the 2.
The coach said that when he coaches in Germany and Dresden, he calls this what we're going to see coming up here is fat boy formation, where they put in 2 fullbacks in the power eye, offset to the right. Both go over 300 pounds, and he puts in a tailback that goes over 300 pounds.
South Korea leads at 6-0, but if you take a look at these stats for the first quarter, Australia with 82 yards on the ground, South Korea minus 24. Yards passing, 38 yards passing, 2 interceptions for Stegman. There you see it. He's carried it 3 times for 48 yards. Boy, the stats favor Australia, but the scoreboard says South Korea 6-0, Troy.
And turnovers will do that. You got to hold on to the football. And ball security is job security. You've got to take care of that football. You've got to hold on to it. You just can't be turning it over.
Well, Australia right now, 1st and goal at the South Korea 2.
Coach says he likes to go to his tailback.
Yeah, look at that formation. The big guy, Lansdale, has it, and forget about it. Right over the right side. They put a hand on him, but that's all they got. Touchdown, Australia.
Nothing fancy. That's just good old-fashioned smash mouth football. Put both fullbacks over there. Everybody up front. You guys just block up. We're going man-to-man. Fullbacks are going to lead up. Great ISO block. Great ISO block by big number. I'm trying to think that's number 25 there for the Australian, Akuklu. And he goes 6'3", 315 out of Perth, and he just pile drives his man into the end zone.
Well, Nate Lansdale opening up some eyes as the kick is up. It is good. So with 11:06 to go here in the first half of play from Canton, Ohio, Australia, led by their quarterback Jared Stegman and a blockbuster running back named Nate Lansdale, have taken the lead 7-6.
Early on, Australia looked out of sorts. They had a couple of turnovers. They've settled down here. They've gotten within that rhythm, and now they've gotten some confidence, and they realize, hey, they can control that line of scrimmage. For South Korea, they can't keep playing with a 3-man front up front defensively. If they are, they're going to have to bring up their linebackers tight. They're going to have to sit them down almost over the guards, try to put some more bodies up front, because out of this offensive line play for Australia, their guards and tackles are getting to the linebackers and opening up great running lanes for the tailback, the fullback, and now the quarterback for Australia.
There you take a look at some South Korean fans. Made the trip here to Canton, Ohio.
I think it took the South Korean team right around 25 to 30 hours to get here for the trip here to play. As you saw the two-yard run there by Lansdale with a good extra point to give the score 7-6 in favor of Australia.
Well, if Nate Lansdale at 264 pounds can contend with the humidity and stay fresh, I'm not sure there's a lot of people in a white jersey that can stop him.
No, they looked pretty sharp yesterday at practice watching them. Didn't seem to heat the ball there. I know talking yesterday with one of the captains, Bradley Bennett, he works in conditions that's usually around 110 degrees.
Kuka with the kick. South Korea's going to bring it back from their 3-yard line, coming up the right side and swarmed under at the 24-yard line by the entire left side of that specialist coming down on the kick for Australia.
Nice job there. Got about a 17 to 20-yard return there for South Korea. Big number 89 getting the return hung there. And now we've got to see if South Korea can get back in the offense, and that's all going to start with their quarterback, Kim. See if they keep going with the tight end formations or if they elect to go with their 4 wide set.
I still like the South Korea specialists, the wide receivers, the running backs, get them out in space. I think they've got an advantage on their quickness and athleticism over that Australian secondary. We'll have to see what they plan right here. First possession of the second half for South Korea. They trail now 7-6 exactly. 11 minutes to go in the opening half.
It's a little bit of confusion there. Looks like they might be trying to go to a trips open set.
Going to send Kang in motion. Kim going to throw. The mantle ball is batted in the air, and fortunately, nobody able to come down with it for Australia. That could have been another huge play. That's the 3rd pass we've seen tipped today.
And talking with a couple of the South Korean not team members, but some of their managerial staff that comes with them, I know with the size of the defensive line of Australia, the South Koreans are giving up about 3 to 4 inches, and you can see there those balls are getting batted up in the air. And every time that ball goes up in the air, it favors the defense, especially around the defensive line.
They're get a close-up look at Kim, the quarterback, number 12, facing a 2nd and 10 in his own 24. Going to keep a little quarterback keeper. Doesn't get much. Taking it to the 27-yard line. Little surprise call right there. Maybe trying to get a crease and get a big play.
Yeah, trying to keep the defense honest. I don't mind that. He still picked up, 4 yards. Make those defensive linemen get back on their heels a little bit. Keep the linebackers honest. One thing for South Korea, I think, to have some success throwing the football, they're going to have to flex Kim out of the pocket, maybe put him in that pistol gun set and get him rolling out into space where he can create with his legs as well as his arm.
Akakula with the tackle for Australia. Now it's 3rd and 6. Possession play, ball on the ground, still loose. Let's see who has it. Australia says they have it. No signal yet. And the Aussies have it on another big defensive play. We've seen a bunch of those today, and this is the latest one. Looked like Kim never really had possession of the football, and once it hit the ground, it was wide open for anybody that could get there. Let's watch it again.
Well, I think they were trying to run that jet reverse again. The timing was off. I think Bradley Bennett, number 80, one of the Australian captains, is going to come up with it. Had a chance to talk with Bradley Bennett. He's one of these Aussies. He's used to working in temperatures that are 100 to 110 degrees. I know his wife and little one are coming in here. He's a geologist. They're flying in later today. But that's a great job there by Bradley Bennett.
Turnover to South Korea. Let's see if Australia can take advantage. They've got it 1st and 10 at the South Korea 23-yard line.
I'll tell you, these corners are playing off way too far, I think, for the South Koreans.
Little bubble screen. Let's see if he can get a block. He breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle. Inside the 5-4, touchdown Australia.
Yeah, and they are playing too far off, and you can just see it coming. You can see that play develop as you look at it from up here. They're playing too far off. They're giving him too much space. Whoever reacts second first is going to win. And you see it here when he catches the ball in space. Just a long, short sideline throw, about a 10-yard pass. He's going to catch it.
That's Tyson Garnham.
He's going to make one man miss. But great teamwork down here blocking. I love how he reads his block. I love how he shows patience. Great block there by number 87, Matthew Mackay. And that's what frees him up to get to the end zone.
Kakwa now will try and add on point number 14. Ball is up, and it is good. 10:02 left to go here in the first half of play. And after trailing 6-0 early, Australia has answered with 2 touchdowns, and they lead it right now, Troy, 14-6.
14-6, the Australians lead it, and we're going to get a look here at that touchdown. You're going to look at it from Stegman's point of view as he's going to just take a quick step back, throws the pass, but look at the blocking downfield. I'm sorry, that's number 81. Mitchell Bessie picks up a key block, and that's going to free him up, and he's going to take it into the end zone. Great execution there by the Australians. South Korea's got to bring their DBs up. I know they're quick, I know they've got great closing speed, but they've got to play a little tighter to the line of scrimmage and force Australia to go with the deep ball.
So Australia not phased at all with those 2 early interceptions, Troy, led by a veteran quarterback in Jared Stegman, have battled back for 2 touchdowns. That says a lot about not only the coaching, but the leadership from Stegman to keep him focused and keep him in the football game.
Talking to Coach Latte, I asked him, I just said, hey, Coach, what's one thing for Australia you can hang your hat on? He says, we don't quit. It doesn't matter if we're up 4 scores or we're down 4 scores. The mentality of Australians when it comes to sport is we will battle, we will battle, and we will battle, and we will compete with every single possession. As you saw there, that 23-yard reception for a touchdown. But he loved to talk about the fact that they battle and they never stop competing.
Eddie Kakwa kicking it off. Short kick at the 20-yard line, right at the middle of the field. A little bit of a seam. And they bring it back to the 38-yard line, maybe the 39. Scott Wolf, number 47, was in on the tackle for Australia. They're going to put the football down right at the 38-yard line, where South Korea has it 1st and 10, trailing now 14-6.
You saw that little pooch kick again there by the Australians, trying to put it between the 20 and the 30. They also have that ability to kick it deep inside the 10. And that's one thing, they like to keep it up here. Ooh, a little funky formation coming out of the South Koreans. I like this. See if we get a little side snap here by the South Korean center behind the offensive line. Little muddle huddle action.
Yeah, let's see how Australia's defense handles this on 1st and 10 for South Korea.
See if he tries to side
at their own 38-yard line. And Kim's going to keep it. And Australia says nothing doing. Oh, could that be a late hit? I'll tell you, no. Thought maybe a little bit of a late hit there coming out of the sidelines. Looked over at Bill Lamagna, director of officials, and he says, no way.
No, he says there's no way that's a late hit.
Good clean hit.
But I love this.
That's a Big Ten official right there.
That's right. The center has the option here. He can snap it between his legs to his quarterback, or he can side snap it to the receiver behind the offensive line, or he can also snap as they're going to the same position to the wideout. A couple of different options here. There's the side snap.
2nd and 10. Again, Kim going to keep it. Flag goes down to the backfield. Could be a hold. Very short yardage to the 41-yard line, but I think that one's coming back.
So you got an option there. A little bit different thing there. You see the side snap. You don't see that too often here in America. We're going to see if there was maybe a hold on that play.
They do call the hold on South Korea, and this is going to push the football deeper into South Korea territory, as the officials right now are going to put it at the 28-yard line.
South Korea here has got to stick to trying to get some of the short passes, get their receivers the ball in space, try to make them force the Australian DBs to make some missed tackles, try to pick up some yards after catch.
Clock moving with 9 minutes and 15 seconds left to go here in the first half of play.
As the South Koreans are in their huddle, trying to come up with something a little bit different here.
They've shown a couple wide open formations here in this possession. Nothing works. And right now they're trying to come up with something to get back in the end zone. Offense has not scored. It was the defense for South Korea that scored on the interception back in the first quarter. Australia has answered with 2 touchdowns, and they lead at 14-6 as South Korea has called a timeout.
Joe, talking with some of the South Korean coaches and players and some of the staff that went along with them here, these are guys that had to take off basically two and a half weeks of work to come and play in this bowl, to play in this world championship here in the United States. They also had to pay the $3,500 to $4,000 for the opportunity to play in this. And that's a big commitment. They're coming here committed to play to represent their nation. Talking with their general manager, one thing that they want to do is try to make football an Olympic sport. That way their Olympic committee can come in and fund them, because right now they fund themselves throughout different clubs in South Korea. They have 36 universities that play football in South Korea, trying to piece this team together as a national team to compete.
Well, South Korea calls timeout, and I'm sure they're talking about hanging on to the football. They've had 3 turnovers today. They've been picked off twice, 1 fumble, and they're down 14-6.
A little bit of a bunch formation here to the right.
Going to bring it to the right side. And again, a swarming Australia defense is going to stop him after a gain of maybe 4.
Just run that bunch formation there, just a straight snap, sweep, trying to make the turn there. Nice run, though, by number 25, Duck for South Korea.
They have switched. Kim was the quarterback. Now Duck, number 25, has taken over. And now they got Kim back at quarterback. So they are showing a little bit of speed, showing some different quarterbacks, trying to make something happen offensively on a 3rd and 15. This is Kim, going to throw, in trouble, going to scramble, looking, backside, doesn't get him. Throws it out of bounds on a pretty good effort by the quarterback to avoid a sack. Throws it out of bounds into the Australian bench. It'll be 4th down now and still 15.
Well, they talk about how the quarterback's got to have a stopwatch in his head as it counts down for the rush, but you're going to see Kim here. He's going to get the snap. He's going to step up in the pocket when he feels pressure, and right about now he's going to realize he's at the line of scrimmage, and he starts to move laterally, feels that rush, evades it again, and finally just gets rid of the football as he gets out of the pocket.
That was Carlisle Jones from that left side defense that was chasing him. He was coming from the front. From the backside, Kim couldn't feel the pressure. Pretty good punt. Let's watch the bounce. And it's coming up and make the catch for Australia. Gutty play, and they can't bring him down. I'll tell you.
He's still on his feet.
Somebody better grab him and throw him down. And finally, he gets into South Korean territory, all the way down to the 49. Wow.
He drug players there. That's number 23 for South Korea, Martin. And he comes up and he kind of dragged players for about 11 yards after the initial contact plays for the Northwestern Predators. But look at it here. He's going to catch it. There comes the initial hit, and he just stays on his feet. He's just taking him like a rugby player, just taking him all the way to the sidelines.
He did something, Troy, that every American football coach loves. He came up and made the catch, didn't let the ball bounce, came up and made a great play to bring it to midfield, where Australia has it 1st and 10, leading 14-6.
Great job of attacking the football.
Stegman back in the pistol. Going to give it to...
Nope. He kept it again.
Garnham. No, Stegman's going to keep it. Fooled everybody. Stegman down the left sidelines. Finally run out of bounds after a big play down to the South Korea 21-yard line. And again, it's Jared Stegman, who I think is the best player on the field here in the first half.
Jared Stegman showing that international feel to it. I don't know, that Stegman or David Copperfield out there. He's a magician with the ball. He rides that fullback the entire time, and then at the last minute, he's reading that defensive end, seeing him close down, and he makes the turn.
Unfortunately, Troy, they're going to bring it back.
Oh, holding call.
Flag on the play, back at the 48-yard line. Take that great individual effort away from Stegman. And they're going to bring the football back, and they're going to put it right at the 40-yard line. So South Korea, boy, they really are fortunate there, because that could have set up potentially that 3rd Australia touchdown. They already lead at 14-6.
And one thing with it, Stegman does a nice job of riding his fullback, but he keeps an eye on that backside defensive end to see if he comes upfield or not, whether or not to put it in his belly, or if he can tuck it and take it away.
Loss of 10, 1st and 20 for Australia at their own 40-yard line. Tyson Garnham, number 36, back as Stegman. And that's who gets the football. We have seen Tyson Garnham on that 2nd Australian touchdown really break some tackles, read his blocks very well. Not a lot of space right there, but he's showing me that he can do some damage if he gets the football in a little bit of space on the field.
Yeah, good zone option read here by this Australian team. A lot of zone blocking up front. Good quick footwork here by the Australians. They average about 35 to 45 pounds more man up front than the South Koreans, who are still sticking with that 30 front. They got to bring up an extra back or a strong safety here. Try to match up a little bit more man-on-man up front.
Gain of 3 by Garnham. 2nd and 17, ball to 43. Again, it is Garnham, and again, short yardage, going to be well short of the 1st down to the 47-yard line.
Kim making the initial hit there for the South Koreans, which actually saved them. If he doesn't make that initial hit, he's going to pick up about another 10 or 12 yards.
Haven't seen Nate Lansdale in this possession, the big 267-pound running back. He's a little close to the goal line. I think he'll be ready.
He might be getting some oxygen on the sideline.
I think he needs a little bit, man. He is a load. 3rd and 13. Australia at their own 47-yard line with 6:10 left to go here in the first half. Stegman looking.
Great
flag
protection.
goes down. Going to be another holding call, I think. Stegman this time can't break enough tackles to get the yardage, but I think they're going to bring this one back, Troy. Flag came down from right in the middle of the field.
And I think you are going to have a hold there. And then sometimes, as an offensive lineman, having played that position, you're trying to protect your quarterback. Sometimes you just reach that paw outside the frame and you get called for the holding call.
Referee Nana Harasu is going to check with his officials and see what they come up with right here. 5:58 left to go in the first half. South Korea jumped out early with an interception, missed the extra point. They led it 6-0, and then Australia went to work. 2 unanswered touchdowns, and that's where we stand right now, 14-6, with 5:58 left to go here. Well, I think everybody back in Korea could hear that.
Yeah, came right across pretty loud there. As I think it was a face mask call.
This is going to cost South Korea some valuable real estate, as they're now going to put the football inside the 35 at the 34. Going to be a first down for Australia, and plenty of time on the clock. 5:58. Jared Stegman going to keep it. Good cut. Stegman with another good move. Leapfrogs over one of his runners, and then is going to be close to a first down at the 25-yard line. Another good athletic move by Jared Stegman.
Stegman just once again pulls that ball up, but he waits till the last second. He keeps that mesh point so strong, as you're going to get a great look at here. He meshes, pulls it right out at the end. Number 40 there for South Korea, number 10 there for South Korea just loses his feet. That's Jung. And if he keeps contained there, he manages to get him at the line of scrimmage. But Stegman makes him miss, gives a little juke move, and it manages to beat him to the perimeter.
Yeah, a couple really good moves right there. We have a South Korean player down at the 33-yard line. Clock now down to 5:36.
As we were talking about earlier, we talked about the 36 universities in South Korea that play football. Throughout Australia, they call football gridiron. The American football, they call it gridiron. They have 60 to 70 clubs, mostly around Victoria, New South Wales, and Queensland, where you see most of those teams play. But what's nice in Australia is they try to keep that cost down so that anyone who wants to play gridiron can manage to. It's not like that throughout the world in different places, where just for your club fees you might be paying $500 to $750 a year for your club fees, plus having to pay for your uniform and equipment.
It'll be 2nd and 1 for Australia at the South Korea 25, as the Aussies try and add on here with 5:36 to go here in the first half. Right in the shadows of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Last time they ran this, just made the short inside pass to the inside receiver. See if they maybe try to run like a hitch and go with it now.
Low snap. State. We're going to throw that bubble screen. Going to be caught out there by Strickland. Strickland inside the 10 and is going to take it down to the 7. Daniel Strickland, first reception of the day for that youngster. And he went right down the left sidelines, and one more broken tackle, Troy. He's in the end zone.
He makes one man miss, same formation. You got double deuce stacked. Picks up a nice block downfield by his big receiver in front of him. Makes 2 men miss. Takes it down inside the 10-yard line.
Boy, touchdown saving tackle right there, but Australia right on the verge of getting into the end zone for the 3rd time. And look who's in the
your favorite.
Look who's in the football game right now. There he is, number 37, Nate Lansdale, running back.
As you got the South Koreans taking their last time out of the
there
game.
you take a look at the South Korean sidelines. As we mentioned, for Australia, Nate Lansdale, number 37, all 264 pounds of running back.
I was watching, it's a good thing he can run, because I was watching him play a little bit of cornhole last night at the barbecue. Stick to football, my friend.
Well, you don't expect a guy that big to have that touch, do you?
No, but
just give him the football inside the 5 and let him do his thing.
Take football, run with football, hit, and he does that very, very well.
I'd be shocked if anybody gets the football except that youngster, I'll tell you. He has impressed today in short yardage situations.
I'm impressed with the occupations a lot of these players have for South Korea and Australia. You've got engineers, you've got doctors, you've got people who own their own businesses, a few teachers on both squads, a couple of professors.
I would guess that Lansell maybe owns a restaurant.
Yeah, I bet he likes tasting the food. Don't want to eat up all the profits.
Here we go. First and goal at the 6. Going to throw for it out to Strickland. Touchdown Australia, their third of the afternoon.
And the Aussies answer right back again. Once again, just that little bubble screen. It's just basically a long handoff. Some people would run a toss sweep. They just get it to the sideline, able to take it right into the end zone.
Now the penalty, some good plays, and all of a sudden Australia has answered that early 6-0 South Korea lead.
They run those little stack receivers. First man gets the block. And the South Koreans are just playing so far off the line of scrimmage, he can run 5 yards before they even get to him. They've got to come up and jam that that top receiver and bring an inside backer up.
Eddie Kakua with the kick up, and it is perfect. 4:58 left to go in the first half from Tom Benson Stadium. Canton, Ohio, USA. It's Australia 21, South Korea 6. You like this Australian team after you watched them practice the last couple days, and they have come out here and just as their coach said, they don't quit.
Joe, the first thing I look at is offensive line play. And I liked what I saw out of the offensive line play at practice. And it was only a 2-hour practice by the Australians. Plus, I also knew the fact, Joe, they spent last week at Ashland University, gone with some two-a-days to try to mesh everything up. They did some stuff back in what would have been their summer, our winter here in the United States, to try to gel the team together. As you get a good look there at number 11, Strickland, for the Australians, giving a shout out back home.
Yeah, they're looking back home. They're saying, hey, keep going, guys. We're proud of you back in Australia. Let's look at the penalties for South Korea. 22 yards in penalties. Australia 3 for 30. But, of course, the big statistic is right on the scoreboard to my left. Australia 21, South Korea 6. Second game today, 3:30, will be France against Brazil. Then game 3 later tonight, the United States against Mexico. Of course, we'll have the parade of countries, opening ceremonies. That'll be held prior to the USA-Mexico game tonight. Kaku with a kick, coming down to the 11-yard line. Going to bring it up the left side this time. Gets a hole and going to bring it all the way back, finally, to the 45-yard line. Good field position there for that South Korean offense. They trail it 21-6.
And Joe, that was the first time we've seen this Australian team elect to kick it deep, and we see why they've avoided it so far. Big return there for South Korea, and the last thing you want if you're Australia is to give this South Korea team something to get excited about as they go into a locker room. There's still almost 5 minutes to go. South Korea's out of timeouts, but 5 minutes for this style of offense is an eternity.
Yeah, the Australian touchdown was 44 yards, took 3 minutes and 1 second, 7-yard pass from Stegman to Strickland. Kim in trouble, going to throw it out, and is going to be a good open
nice
field tackle. Looks like Malloy again, maybe.
Number 42 coming up there for the Aussies. Delana coming up, plays for the UST Gators back home. Comes up and makes a big stick there.
Boy, Damian Malloy and that young man has been all over the place defensively. As you take a look at Kim, going to throw it out, and here comes the Aussies in a hurry. As Jean Duck goes down, and that will be a gain of only 2 yards, 2nd and 8 now as the clock is moving with 4:11 to go in the first half.
Tough pass to catch there by Young Duck. He was initially a blocker, slips out to catch the pass.
Going to send Kang in motion. Kim again. Plenty of time. Going to throw the home run ball down. It is up for grabs and is nearly picked off. And the ball is down right there. But Australia with a good chance to pick that one off.
Isaac Summerfield does a nice job, realizes, hey, might not be able to make the interception, knocks it down. Summerfield, I remember yesterday at practice, had a great quote. Playing DB, dropped the pass, he goes, hey, that's why I'm a defensive back and not a wide receiver anymore.
Stops the clock with 3:56 to go. Possession play here for South Korea on 3rd and 8 at their own 47-yard line. Kim going to run for it. A lot of space to the left, and here comes the Australian defense, and down he goes on a mid-air collision.
That time they put Hong Duck in the backfield to take the direct snap, number 25.
There's a flag down, but that was, if you like defense, that was fun to watch.
You got to love the pursuit there, and you got to love the collision as they just strung that out all down the line of scrimmage.
Penalty, of course, declined by Australia. So take a look at Bear, the South Korean coach.
Take a look at the replay here, Joe. You're just going to see the defensive line. They know they've got different running. They got a running back in the backfield. Look at them scrape right down, fight off their blocks, boom, and they just upend them. Great pursuit there by the Australian defense, reading what the offense is giving them.
And number 6, Damian Malloy was there again. He's been in a lot of tackles today. 3.5 to go in the half. Australia going to get it again. Big rush. Let's watch the bounce on this kick. And that is going to take a bounce, and Australia's going to get it and bring it back upfield. Boy, one thing we have seen from Australia, they are not afraid to field punts.
No.
They will catch it in traffic, they will catch it on the bounce, and they will get yourself some good field position. I think there's a lot of American coaches that love that. That's the one thing they harp on a lot. Come up and catch the football on those punts.
And they're not afraid to catch it in traffic. They might have gone out to I-77 to try to catch that football. Looks like number 50 for Korea, Bongdu, is the injured player on the field as he's being attended to.
That is about the 3rd or 5th Korean player that has been down. Hopefully he is okay. As we said, a lot of action today here at Tom Benson Stadium. Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 2 more games to go. Brazil and France. Mexico, the United States, as you look across the way at some of the South Korea fans. Second game, Brazil and France will begin at 3:30. And then tonight at 7 o'clock, the United States against Mexico. And I think everybody we've talked to, looking forward to that one.
Yeah, looking at the Mexican team last night, talking with some of them. Also talking with the Brazilian team. Interesting thing we saw last night, put it up on our Facebook page. Saw an engagement. One of the Brazilian players got engaged last night to his girlfriend. And I'll tell you, the Brazilians know how to have a good time. Here's a little double stack again, double twins, double stack.
Australia has 3 minutes and 15 seconds to try and get their 4th touchdown of the first half. They lead it right now 21-6. 1st and 10 at the 41. Short gain over the right side, maybe 1, and that is all as the left side of that Korean defense jumps up and makes the stop. South Korea has been very good defending the short yardage plays. It's when Australia gets out in space and goes to the edges where they've been burned.
Yeah, their corners are playing a little too far off here. They've seemed to the wide side of the field. They brought out a backer, a strong safety to take away a little bit of that short pass, but they're still giving it up to the boundary. You get one good block, he can pop it to the boundary for another 10 yards.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9, 42-yard line. Stegman again. It's going to be Garnham, and that is going to be a huge play down to the 40-yard line. And again, we have seen all these Australian running backs break tackles, run over people. They have been impressive.
Well, I think a lot of it, they have that background of playing Australian rules football and also played a lot of rugby. And when you get hit, you've got to keep your feet churning. And that's something American coaches are always saying. Off that initial contact, accelerate your feet. Keep your feet moving. Don't stop moving your feet. And the Australians do an excellent job of that.
1st and 10. Stegman going to break the play and take it to the 35-yard line.
As you look out there, big number 99 for the South Koreans, Guillaume. I actually stood beside him. He stands, they've got it here in centimeters, but he stands right around 6'8", and he's one of the taller players I think we've got here in this World Championship event.
You take a look at him. All 6'8" of him. Hard to throw over that young man as we're down to 1:43 to go in the first half. 2nd and 5 at the South Korea 35. Stegman, big hole on the right side is Garnham again, and again they break tackles, and again it's a big play, and again it's going to be a first down, this time at the 17-yard line.
Looks like a little bit of the confusion there from the South Koreans. I bet they wish they had held on to one of their timeouts, try to settle this defense down. You don't want to let the Australians go up by another score, 3 scores going into halftime, as they're staying with this no-huddle attack. Stegman does a nice job, just puts it right in his belly. Look for him to keep it here at some point.
First and 10. Again, it's the big guy. That is Lansdale, number 37, 267 pounds of running back. And I think they're going to get a steady diet of that right now with 1 minute and 5 seconds left to go in the first half.
Australians still have all 3 timeouts. They're keeping the clock going.
They can get a first down at the 7-yard line. Here comes the big guy again, and this time they get him low and bring him down.
Nice job there. You saw the quickness there of the South Korean linemen. Now they're starting. I think you're seeing a little bit of these Australian linemen are starting to wear down with their size, and these South Korean linemen are still pretty quick. They're getting to their gaps, beating the offensive linemen to the spot, getting some good penetration, and not allowing these running backs for Australia to start building some momentum.
Timeout Australia as they try and get it into the end zone. They have 2 timeouts left here in the first half. 46 seconds on the clock to my left. And if you are an Australian football fan, you got to love it right now. 21-6 Aussies as they try and win the opening game here in the 2015 IFAF World's Championship. As you take a look at the quarterback, that is Stegman, getting in some water. It is a humid day out here, buddy.
It is a very humid day, and they've been very blessed here the last week here in Ohio. It's been a little bit on the cooler side. One of the nights talking with some of the Australian and the French contingency as well, talking about how it got down to 50 degrees, and they couldn't believe that coming here to the United States. It's been very enjoyable talking to the French, the Brazilians, the Mexicans, the United States staff as well. I haven't had a chance to talk with the Japanese team as they got a bye in the first round, but they're always a team. Japan, when it comes to international play, always one of the top teams.
3rd and 6 at the 13. 46 seconds left in the half. Stegman, first man through. Going to be close to a first down, a couple yards short as the clock continues to run. They're going to spot the ball at the 10. And they're going to call another timeout. The clock is stopped. This time 36 seconds left, and that is going to leave them with 1 timeout, Troy. Do you throw it right here, or do you keep it on the ground?
You know what? You still got 1 timeout left. I like they go that double stack, double twin set, make the long handoff, make the long throw, which is basically a long handoff. Check the secondary, though. Do you go to the boundary or do you go to the wide side of the field? All comes to how the secondary plays, and you've got to react to it as the offense.
36 seconds left. John Layton, the Australian head coach, has had his say with the offense. They're coming back on the field. Let's see what they got. The football spotted right in the middle. Going to be 4th and 3. So not only a possession play, but you're going to try and conserve as much of this clock as you can.
They're going for the field goal here.
Wow, that surprises me a little, but you got a 267-pound running back. Maybe they're going to fake it. Let's see what they do here.
They tend to go with more narrow stances than you would see in the U.S.
This will be a 27-yard field goal from right in the middle of the field. It is up, and it is good. Kakwa with a 27-yard field goal. 32 seconds left in the half. Australia has scored again, and it's now 24-6 Aussies.
The Aussies have just kept a steady march right down the field as they put up their scores. They've done it through the air. They've done it on the ground. Now they're doing it with their leg, getting the field goal to make it a 24-6 game over the South Koreans.
We're going to be talking with the director of officials for this worldwide tournament, Bill Lamagna. He's going to be with us at halftime to talk about the officials, how they were selected, and his impressions of the first half here at Tom Benson Stadium.
And Joe, the IFAF have done a great job putting on this World Championship. The teams are being housed over at Walsh University. They want that Olympic Village atmosphere, and that's a big push. You talk to all these teams from around the world, they want to see football as an Olympic event. You know, we think of football here in the U.S. as that's something that we have, but the rest of the world does a great job in playing it. Talking with the French contingency, they've got about 15 to 16,000 people that play football in France. They talk about in Austria how big football is. Germany has a professional league. You've got Australia with the Gridiron League as well. Football is growing and growing worldwide, and they'd like to see it put in the 2024 Olympics.
Ho Yen On back to receive this Kakwa kick. Going to come up and get it at the 10-yard line, left side. Got a little bit of a crease, and Australia answers at the 37-yard line. Right. That scoring drive for the Aussies went 7 plays, 52 yards, ending up in a 27-yard field goal to make it 24-6.
Right now, if you're South Korea, you might just go some direct snaps here, try to get in the locker room at halftime. For Australia, you get the ball to start the second half too.
Well, it has been an impressive performance by Australia after they were hammered early on a pass interception. They were down 6-0. Didn't phase them. They've answered 24 points without a South Korea score. Kim going to throw, sidelines, caught, going to stay in bounds. Now he's going to squirt out of bounds, and they're going to keep the clock moving. He did not get out.
Seeing that right there is a little bit of the football IQ, not having played for the years that some other nations have known, to get out of bounds to stop that clock.
Yeah, this will be the final play. Kim's going to spike it, so they're going to have one play left with 4 seconds left to go.
And I actually watched both teams prepare for this. South Korea prepare for their jump ball situation, and the Aussies go into their prevent situation at practice, just batting down all tip balls for the end of quarter plays.
That'll be man against man down here, as you can expect Kim, the quarterback for South Korea, to put a lot of air under this one and make it a jump ball down at about the 15-yard line if he can throw it that far.
They might drag somebody underneath, try a little
there's a
double
lot of options.
ladder.
They've showed some unbelievable formations. Let's see what they do right here. Now Kim's going to throw it. Has some time. Trying to find some space. Going to set his feet. Going to throw deep. Ball's going to go down to about the 10-yard line. We're just batted down, and that'll be it.
That is a very strong arm thrown across his body down to the 10-yard line, Joe.
No flags down. I think that is it. We have played one half of football here at Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio, USA. It is Australia 24, South Korea 6. We're back to take a look at the first half right after this. Back at Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio, USA. We've played one half of football this afternoon. It's Australia 24, South Korea 6, as he spends some time with the director of officials here at the game. And for the entire tournament, that is Bill Lamagnier out of Tinley Park, Chicago, Chicagoland. Before we talk about the officials and how they were assigned, what's your impression of the first half?
Well, I tell you what, everybody's got to get off to a start. You saw some of it sluggish with the teams, the turnovers and that. The officials are getting in the swing of things now. I'm seeing a lot better fluid movement in the second quarter, so it takes a little bit. These guys are from all around the world, and first time some of them are working together.
I know your main focus is on the officials. You have a chance to watch the type of play, or is your focus mainly on these guys and how they're doing with the flags?
Well, I was watching and listening to your comments too, and I kind of agreed that I thought Korea was kind of playing them soft in the first quarter there, and they were giving them some awful big lanes for those slants to the inside and the passes behind the line. So yeah, I think the size and the right now and the way the game's going is going to Australia, but we still got another half to play. We'll see how it goes.
The growth of American football around the world has been fantastic. Of course, you've been involved in that. With football, you got to have officials. How easy it has been to train these people to officiate American-style football?
Well, I think one of the things people would be surprised at, and I learned this 9 years ago, the first time I went to Japan. I didn't do my homework, and I didn't know when they started playing football, and I found out it was before World War II. And now they have over 120 universities that play football. They have a professional league called the X League. The same thing's happening in different parts of the world. So, the growth in some parts, it's not soccer, it's not baseball, but it's really starting to grow, and the energy level of the officials that are coming in is great to work with. They're really eager, really hungry.
How many officials did you want to come here to America? How much interest was there, and how did you select the guys that are here wearing the stripes?
That's a great question, because we have 7 teams in the tournament. We have probably about 60 federations. The interest level was really high. We pared it down originally to 32 officials, and then unfortunately when Canada dropped out, then we did a little more whittling. But we've got it now. We've got 25 officials here from around the world, but we probably could have 50 or 60. This is just such a great event for them to be involved in.
Now, will you grade the officials, and the best officials will go to the championship game, or how does that work?
Well, again, good question. What we'll do, I am taking notes. We will have post-game meetings tomorrow to review film and to review the notes. The officials will be graded. We'll try to get the best officials on the game. One of the IFAF rules, though, is official from a federation can't work that federation game. So you possibly could have a really outstanding job done by an official, whether it's a U.S. official or whoever ends up in the finals, but we can't use the officials from their nation. But at the same time, this is a great opportunity. There's some good officials that are here from Europe and from Asia, Mexico. We won't have a hard time getting 8 quality officials for that game.
Let's talk about your background, Bill. You have been affiliated with the Big Ten, a lot of big games. What are some of the highlights of your illustrious career?
Oh, I tell you, 20 years in the Big Ten, how could you trade that? What a place to be on Saturday afternoons. I was fortunate with 6 or 7 Ohio State-Michigan games, including when they were 1-2 in the country that year. I've had a couple national championships. The game, though, that I talk about that just sticks with me was when that little team, Boise, knocked off Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. What a magic night that was to be out in Phoenix to be part of that event. Of
course, right now you're still involved in officiating, but also on site for a lot of big-time telecasts.
Yeah, I was fortunate when I retired from the field a year ago that ESPN approached me about the possibility to come on and be a rules analyst. So last year I had the opportunity every weekend and through the bowl season. I either worked with Herb Street and Fowler or Nestler and Blackledge, and it was a fantastic group of announcers to work with, and at the same time great production groups. It really was a fantastic experience.
Age-old question, why does somebody want to be an official?
I don't know. It was kind of a bug that bit me. A friend of mine got me involved with youth football, and I went out and tried it, and it was kind of a bug that bit me. I said, I know I got a lot to learn, but I want to get better at it, and I had a good supporting cast around me all my career, and so it's kind of just a bug that bites you and a passion. It's not cut out for everybody, but it's a phenomenal place to be.
Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure meeting you and talking with you. We got a lot of football to watch the rest of the week and into next week. Thanks for joining us.
Look forward to working with you some more.
There you go. Bill Lamagna, Director of Officials here for the IFAF World Championships. We're back to take a look at the first half. It's 24-6 Australia. We're back right after this. Joe Dunn and Troy Richardson back at Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio, USA. One half of football in the books right now. It's Australia 24, South Korea 6. South Korea jumped out and topped 6-0, and then Troy 24 unanswered points by the Aussies.
Well, the big thing for the Aussies, Joe, is they stopped turning the ball over. Their first two possessions, one interception off a straight, nice step-up interception by the secondary of South Korea. The second one, a tip pass, led to another turnover. Since then, it's been all Australia offensively.
24-6 right now. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. And what we're going to look at first is that South Korean interception that put them on top 6-0 early.
As you see it right there, does a nice job of jumping in front, bites the route, picks it off, takes it all the way to the house, and it looked like it could be South Korea all the way early on.
And then here came Australia, and as we said, 24 straight unanswered points.
Second interception there off a tip. Nice job by the Australians holding it to just a 7-yard return. But then the big man up the middle takes it, one of your favorite players, Joe, for a touchdown.
All 267 pounds of him.
Fumble leads to another turnover right back to the Australians. Johnny on the spot, getting the recover. It's going to set up the Australians' second touchdown, which is going to end up being a 27-yard pass taken all the way to the end zone.
Boy, used his blocking very well, went down the right sidelines, right into the end zone.
Coming up for the next Australian score, same pass. We're going to the other side, a little bit shorter, 7 yards. Uses his blocking once again, as you said, Joe.
That was Strickland that got in from the left side. And there you take a look at the highlights. They capped it off with a 27-yard field goal. That's where we stand right now. Boy, for South Korea right now, you took an early lead. Then your defense with a lot of turnovers. Some, let's be honest, some tough play. How do they recover now for the second half?
Well, South Korea's got to decide what type of team they're going to be. They've shown on multiple formations, but are you going to be a team that's going to try to throw the ball, flex your quarterback, get him in space, or are you going to try to establish the run? They've got to find something and stick with it and not hit that panic button too early.
As far as Australia is concerned, I think you're going to see more of the same. You're going to see the quarterback Stegman, a guy that has been, I think, the best football player in the field, direct that offense. They get down inside the 10 or 15-yard line. I think you're going to get a steady dose of Landrum, the 267-pound running back. This is a tough comeback story if South Korea is going to get back in it.
Well, for South Korea to come back in it, they've got to start wearing down that offensive line of Australia. For Australia, their offensive line has to keep playing. They have to keep physically strong up front. They have to keep getting movement to give the quarterback time to throw and to keep opening up holes. But Stegman has been a magician with the football, doing a nice job on the inside zone read.
24-6 Australia. We've got one more half of football left to play. We're coming back and talk about it right after this. Australia on the field, getting ready for the second half. South Korea across the way, talking to their coaches, trying to get everything set for hopefully a comeback effort here in the second half. 24-6, Australia leads. South Korea scored first. They led it 6-0 after the first quarter. And then Australia, 24 unanswered points in the second stanza. And that's where we stand right now, 24-6, Troy.
And Joe, I like what I've seen out of both these teams. For South Korea, they show a lot of different looks offensively, a little bit defensively. Need to bring some more guys up, as we're going to take a look here at the halftime stats. For South Korea, after their first possession where they lost about 35 yards, they're negative 16 yards rushing. For the Australians, they've set that tempo on the ground, 192. Passing yards, give it to the Australians once again, 3-1 there. 23 for the South Koreans, 63 for the Australians. First down, just 2 for South Korea, 13 for the Australians. I don't believe they've punted yet. Penalties, they've settled down here a little bit. 3 for South Korea led to 31 yards. 4 for the Australians led to 40 yards. Turnovers, 1 for the South Koreans, 2 for the Aussies on their first 2 possessions, and they've managed to score since then, Joe.
There you take a look at the stats, as we said, as we get set for second half play, and as we look across the sidelines over the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Looks like there may be some water coming in, some inclement weather coming. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. The wind has been a factor all day long, and it's blowing across the field from the press box, and it has been something that Australia has used to their advantage.
They have. They've done a nice job mixing up the run and the pass. You got to look there at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and as you're looking at it now, within the next year and a half, you're going to see this whole complex change as they create more of a village atmosphere here with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But Joe, we've got a full day of football here as well today and the rest of the week.
That's going to be a lot of fun. The next game up, scheduled to kick off at about 3:30, will be France against Brazil. Then tonight at 7 o'clock, we'll have the opening ceremonies, which is always fun at any type of international event. It'll be the United States taking on Mexico. As you look right into the Australian sidelines, there's their head coach, John Layton. He's got to be extremely pleased at the way this team fought back after a series of interceptions early. They were down 6-0, didn't panic, came back, and now lead at 24-6.
And that second game matchup here of France versus Brazil, I know talking to the French coaching staff and the Brazilian coaching staff, football has become very, very popular in Brazil. Over 16,000 in France are playing it. 2 great teams. That looks to be a great matchup later on here today at 3:30.
Jack Martin, number 23, and Connor Foley, number 10, will bring back this South Korean kickoff, both standing at about the 5-yard line. Good end over end kick, and that is going to go into the end zone 1 yard deep. Coming out is Martin. Left side, tries to cut it around the outside, got some space, and is going to be down at the 40-yard line on another good kick return by these Australians.
Once again, that's number 23 there, Martin. And Joe, as you've said, these Australians are not afraid to return the football. Catches a yard deep in the end zone, brings it out another 41 yards. No fear in their play whatsoever. And a great return, taking it all the way from inside the end zone, all the way out to the 40-yard line.
So 1st and 10 for Australia at their own 40-yard line, leading 24-6. Stegman will be the quarterback as we take a look at that kickoff return by Jack Morton, and he is a guy that turned the corner and got himself ahead of steam. And here we go, first play of the second half. Stegman, first man through, going to try and cut it up, has some good yardage, 5, 6, maybe 7 yards, and that is Connor Foley, number 10.
Connor Foley again, once again the inside zone read. Australia wanting to establish that line of scrimmage early, trying to control that football. And once again, they're going in the no huddle. I thought they'd want to milk a little bit of the clock here, kind of shorten the game with these 12-minute quarters in the second half, but they're kind of playing with no speed limit.
2nd and 3 after a 7-yard gallop by Connor Foley. Ball at the 47. Big hole, Foley again, first down and more, still in his feet, dragging people with him down to the 26.
Great read, but great blocking up front by the offensive linemen of Australia as they're just opening up huge holes. Give it up for the offensive linemen, Gavin Jones, Jonathan Tavison, James Guilford, Aaron Cranberry, and Jason Alamasuk, as they have just opened up major holes for this Australian ground attack.
So Australia starting right where they ended that first half here in the second half with a very spirited drive, trying to add on here. 1st and 10 down at the South Korea 26. Got twin receivers up top. Again, they're going to keep it on the ground. And again, it's Foley. Big yardage. Foley at the 10, at the 5, at the 4, down to the 1 to the goal line. Going to say he's down at the 1.
And he stretches, tried to get into the end zone with. They're going to say his knee was down at the 1 yard line. Great job by the officials today. As you've seen, once again, controlling the line of scrimmage. For the South Koreans, when you look at this replay, they're standing up, straight up on the defensive line. Low man wins. They're standing up, and you're allowing those big 6'4", 300-pound linemen to get inside you. They're just going to drive you downfield, and they do, right down to the goal line.
1st and goal for Australia.
Who do you think's getting the ball, Joe?
Well, I would best it's going to be the big. Now they're going to throw it, and nobody out there to cover him. And that is a touchdown. It looks like it's Matthew Riles, number 82, who was standing out there all by himself.
A little bit of confusion by the South Korean defense as no one covers him. He gets a big hug by his offensive lineman, Gifford, there, but no one covers him. And he says, okay, we'll just play a little pitch and catch growing up. Just walk right into the end zone. That's going to be the easiest touchdown that young man has ever scored.
Wow, that is that is taking advantage of a big error by South Korea. Now Kakwa will kick it up, and he will kick it through.
Nice catch there by Riles. Sometimes, Joe, when you're that wide open, it makes catching the football that much harder, but Riles did a nice job of looking it in. Riles plays for the Gulf Coast Stingrays and gets a touchdown as you got to look at the Australian contingent.
31-6 Australia, and they take that opening kickoff, Troy, get themselves a good return by Jack Morton, and then Stegman does the rest along with some great runs by Connor Foley.
Great running, good power backs by Australia, but I love the offensive line play. Their footwork's very good. They move their feet. They're agile. They're big. I mean, they're not small men out there. And I say men because a lot of these guys are 25, 27, 30 years old. They have good footwork, and they work the second level very well. And
you got to think right now that is a very confident Australian football team down below.
Yeah, they're very confident right now. For South Korea, the body language right now, I'm seeing some guys with their heads down, shoulders shrugged. You can't have that. This is a tournament. This is just game 1, and you've got to stay refocused because you got 3 more games to play.
Exactly. 10-14, still only in the third quarter. 31 unanswered points now by Australia. They lead at 31-6.
Let's see what type of kick. The last time the Aussies kicked it deep, and the South Koreans got a good return. See if they go for one of their pooch kicks, trying to put it between the 20 and the 30.
For Australia, it was 4 plays. They went 61 yards. Took them 2 minutes and 46 seconds, with the final play being a touchdown pass from Stegman to Riles, 1 yard, 31-6. Kalka with the kick. Going to be brought back from the 3-yard line. Right up the middle of the field comes South Korea. And a fumble, and let's see who's got it as a flag goes down behind the play. And fortunately for South Korea, they come up with the football.
See what the penalty is. Nice job by the officiating crew today. Had a nice halftime interview, Joe.
That was fun.
Down. Illegal block in the back. Return team, number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. Team Korea first down.
Blocked in the back. Yeah, that is going to cost South Korea some valuable yardage as they took a look at the return right here.
That's going to pin him inside the 15-yard line. Long way to go for pay dirt as you take a look here. There's that block in the back by number 87 there for the South Koreans. Just going to pin him back a little bit further.
Yeah, that pushes the ball back all the way to the 13-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for South Korea. And they need a lot of offense. And there's not a whole lot of time with 10:04 to go. And the first half pass thrown out, complete. Going to be a short gain to the 17-yard line.
Nice hitch there, a little 7 back to 5. Quarterback Kim does a nice job of showing to the wide side of the field, coming back to the boundary side for the reception.
Calvin Young with the defense there for Australia.
Take a look here at the replay, shows it to the wide, comes right back. Good timing pattern, ball's right there. Nice open field tackle by the Australians.
2nd and 6. Ball now up at the 17-yard line. Kim is the quarterback. Throwing, ball tipped again. That is at least 4 passes that have been tipped today, and that one fell down without any harm, and it's going to be 3rd and 6.
It's going to be an issue here with this linemen are a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter than some of the other teams, and when you look at Kim at the quarterback position here, trying to do the conversion, he only stands about, looking at the centimeters to meters, only stands about 5'9", 5'10". See if they try to get him outside of the pocket.
They got to get him outside if he's going to do that. In the pocket, he's had a lot of balls batted down today. Possession play. Going to throw a little screen pass. And that is not going to work as Australia swarms to the football at the 21-yard line. Going to be about 3 yards short.
Nice discipline there by the Australians, trying to take care of their position, mow their own yard, not going out of position, not rushing upfield a little bit too much. And that's going to bring up 4th and 2 here as you look at the replay. Kim sits in the pocket. His lineman, you get a little too far downfield, kind of outruns his blocks there. Nice tackle, open field tackle by number 24 for Australia. That's Oatens.
4th and 2, punting situation. Joel back to punt. Short punt, going to bounce at the 46-yard line. Get out of the way, Australia. And they're going to be down right there at the 47-yard line. Great field position again for this Aussie offense.
And that's the first time, I believe, this game that the Australians haven't fielded a punt, Joe, or a kick.
They were close, though. They wanted a piece of it if they could have got there.
There is no fear there. They're going to field it any place they want. You can tell that Coach Latte has really drilled into his team, hey, catch the football, do not let it bounce. And they're not afraid to catch it in any type of space.
Injured player for South Korea. Looks like that's number 36, Troy.
36 for the South Koreans. That'd be Jung Quin Hung.
Yeah, he was down back of the play, and now he's going to be helped off the field. And we're ready to play football with 8:35 left to go here in the 3rd quarter on a 31-6 Australian lead. Stegman again in the pistol, Troy.
In the pistol again. See if they keep going to the run game.
Going to option left, and that's going to be Morton.
Nice pitch by Stegman, coming right down the line, reads the defense, closes in on him, makes the pitch. We saw that early on in the game. I think Australia ran that as maybe their 3rd or 4th offensive play of the game. But you're going to take a look at it here on the replay. Stegman going to come right down the line, doesn't belly back. Nice job of reading the DN. Good kick out block there, trying to get a number on that, pop him free for about another 3 or 4 yards.
For Martin, that's a gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Stegman going to option again, going to keep it this time. Good footwork, going to have the first down and scrambles to the 42.
Stegman, just a magician with the football, shows it there a little bit, pulls it back in. Big hands for Stegman as a big number 3 there for Australia. He goes 6'3", 202 pounds. But I watched him grip the football. He has huge hands for someone at just 6'3", but he can do that. He protects the ball very well, lowers that shoulder when he knows contact is coming.
First down, Australia at the South Korea 42. Wide formation now, and Stegman goes right back to throw. Little pump fake. Going to scramble, looks, has a man wide open and throws it in good hands. That was Martin that reached down at his, looked like his kneecaps and caught that one. That is an impressive reception by number 23, Jack Martin.
Gets down low, uses his hand, scoops it up like a shortstop. But I like how Stegman, he feels the pressure, rolls out, still keeps his feet underneath him. He had a man deep, but sees the short receiver, snags it, catches it first, turns it upfield for another 7 yards after the catch. That's one thing I like with these Australian receivers. They do a nice job of getting yards after catch.
Another first down for the Aussies. Ball down at the South Korea 28. Again, wide open formation with Stegman back at the pistol, taking a look at that South Korea defense. It has to be getting a little tired. Going to fake it. Going to throw over the middle and misses his man.
Timing wasn't very good on that play, Joe. I think he wanted the play action pass to freeze the linebacker there. Didn't get it, and he got lucky that ball wasn't picked off.
They were looking to find Tyson Garnham, number 36, and threw that one behind him. Clock stops with 6:47 to go in the 3rd quarter.
The Australians signaling their plays in from the sideline. Stegman does a nice job of communicating to his offensive line.
Ball at the 28-yard line where Stegman faces a 2nd and 10. Again, twin receivers up high and down low. Stegman going to keep it. Going to throw. Has a man out there. That's going to be a touchdown, Australia. What a fake by Stegman to freeze the defense. Then threw it up on the run, and Australia is on the board again.
I don't know if it's turned back the clock there or what, but he's taking that back to old school option football.
This is Daniel Strickland again, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, number 11.
He's going to ride the fullback, make the option himself. You think he's going to run it, sees the corner come up, do a little triple option there. Great read off the option pass by Stegman. Reads the secondary coming up, makes the pass. You don't see too many quarterbacks that can do that. Only can make 1 or 2 reads. He actually makes 3 on that play, Joe.
Eddie Kakwa up, and he is good again. So clock stops, 6:40 left to go here in the 3rd quarter from Tom Benson Stadium in Canton, Ohio. 38-6 Australia. They continue to be impressive.
After South Korea jumped up 6-0, the Australians have answered back 38 straight. Hey, there's a reason there's boxing gloves on that kangaroo right there, Joe, because they're coming out ready to punch and punch and punch and go right at you.
Yeah, pretty good contingent of Australian fans. They are on the press box side of the field here at Tom Benson Stadium, right below us. And after a initial disappointment with the interception and touchdown by South Korea, they have had a ton of things to cheer about today.
And talking with some of the Australian fans, I know they've got about another 30 or 40 fans that'll be coming in for the next games, I believe, on Sunday to come in and cheer on Team Australia. Very big in Australia. Tony Abbott, the Prime Minister for Australia, goes on national news to wish the national gridiron team good luck. So when you've got your PM, your Prime Minister doing that, you know there's a lot of enthusiasm back home in Australia.
Well, he's got to be happy right now as you take a look at Jared Stegman. 9 out of 14 in passing, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has had 2 picked off, but by and large, Troy, he has been everything we thought he would be in leading this Australian offense.
Yeah, I just see him right there. He's talking up top, wants to see what he's getting in the secondary. Very smart young man, good heads-up player, doing some great jobs on the read as the Aussies get ready to kick it off again.
Eddie Kakwa, little pooch kick coming down to the 36, and South Korea is going to have it, but not for long as he goes down at the 30, now they're going to mark it at the 38-yard line. Little pooch kick, Troy, and not much of a return, maybe a yard or 2, and South Korea is going to take over 1st and 10 at their own 38.
Now that's one thing you don't want to give, if you're Australia, you don't want to give the South Koreans anything to get excited about by kicking it deep and allowing them to have a big return. This way you kind of control the return. They're going to get it at the 38, but they're not going to get a chance to bust it across the 50.
Australia took 6 plays, 53 yards, 1:48 to score again. They lead at 38-6.
South Korea coming up once again, now going under center. No quit out of this team.
Well, Kim has been the quarterback. Duck was in there for a few plays in the first half, but mostly it's been Kim, and this time they give it to number 25. That is Duck, and he shows some quick feet for a gain of about 5, but you're going to need to put the ball in the air to get back in this, Troy. I don't think you can win this football game for South Korea right now by running the football.
Yeah, Duck not very big, but he's got a good shift to him. He has very good footwork, can make a nice cut. He's not someone who's going to make a 7 or 8 yard cut, but he's going to make that nice 6-inch to a foot cut to make the defender miss. You get a good look there at one of the linebackers for Australia, Ryan Oaten, as we've called his name many times tonight, big number 24.
2nd and 6, gain of 4 for South Korea. Under 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Hand off, it's Duck again, and going to be close to a 1st down. I think they're going to mark it just short at the 47-yard line, but again, they keep it on the ground.
Keep it on the ground, having a little bit of success. Maybe be able to wear down this defensive line of Australia. Going to bring up 3rd and about a little less than a yard, it looks like.
There's the South Korean coach again, Bear. And again, the Bear is not happy right now.
No, you got the GM right behind him who organized a lot of this team while he was in Canada.
3rd and only 1 yard to go for the 1st down. And now they're going to run for it again as Duck, and he has just enough, maybe a yard or 2 over, close to the 50-yard line, but it's going to be enough for a South Korean 1st down.
Well-designed play there by the South Koreans. They bring the backside man in motion. bring the backside man in motion. Nice job on the kick-out block. Give it a duck, and he picks up the first down.
Coming up to the 5-minute mark here in the third quarter. Rain, for the most part, has stayed away, going all around Tom Benson Stadium. Wind continues to blow as we play football here in the third quarter in Canton, Ohio. 38-6, Australia. 1st and 10. Going to be Duck again. He is hit at the line of scrimmage, but the little guy bounces off, but can't free himself up at midfield.
Duck does a nice job off that initial contact. He keeps his feet churning. He keeps his feet moving, bounces it, and you've got to make sure you wrap him up, because if you don't on that initial contact, he bounces it to the outside. He can take it all the way.
Short gain. They give him 2 yards to the 49-yard line of Australia. And I think the Aussies right now say, hey, if you want to run the ball, take some time off the clock, we'll play with you.
We'll shorten this game up.
Now the rain coming down a little bit as the clouds come over Tom Benson Stadium. 2nd and 8. Pitch out wide, big hole, and the Aussies close it quickly. It's a gang tackle, ball pops loose, still loose, and I think South Korea comes up with it right in the middle of a lot of gold jerseys.
Well, I think initially the Australians had it, but they, instead of scooping it right up to their chest, bring their knees up, couldn't get it there, and the South Koreans just kept competing for the football and managed to pick it up. Take a look here at the replay. They run a little toss sweep. Maybe a little slicker ball now with the rain coming down. Nice job of stripping. That is a well-taught defensive player there, Donaldson. You can tell he is taught to strip the football. You can see him make that stripping motion right there.
Isaac Summerfield, wasn't it? Or Donaldson?
I think that was Donaldson, number 22.
Yep, he was
That's
right
a
there.
well-coached linebacker.
3rd and 3, possession play for South Korea. Going to run for it. This is Duck, and he's not going to get there unless he pushes the pile, and he's going to be about 2 yards short. And with South Korea being down 38-6, I would be surprised if they don't go. You got to go for it here.
Oh, you got to go for it.
Keep the football.
Keep the football. Try to control your own destiny a little bit.
Less than 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Australia, 1 quarter and about 2 minutes and 50 seconds to advancing into the winner's bracket.
This could be a big first-round win for the Australians if they can manage to hold on here.
4th and a long one. Going to run for it? No way. Hit right at the 45-yard line, and down he goes. Australia has the football.
And you can see there in any language, pointing that arm forward, getting the turnover there. Big number, 16. Not a number you'd normally see on someone that size. That's Pritchard at 6'3", 322 pounds. Just blows it up in the backfield. He just attacks and goes all the way deep, getting that play 2-3 yards deep defensively.
Yeah, he broke through a double team and made the play, and now Australia has it back. Big lead here, 38-6. Going to keep it on the ground, Troy, eat some clock, or they want to get in the end zone again?
I would keep the ball on the ground here, especially with the rain starting to come, a little slicker football. Try to hold on to it, shorten this game up. Try to get off the field without any major injuries.
Stegman going to keep it and hold on to the football, Jared. I'll tell you, it looked like he had that thing hung out there. Was going to try and throw it, but wisely hung on to the football and took a loss and come back to play another down. Loss of about 8 on the play.
Yeah, that's something there that's going to make his coach cringe a little bit when he was thinking about it. As you're getting tackled, falling backwards, just tuck the ball away. Yeah. Don't try to lob it up in the air.
You see a lot of international football where they are wide open players. They want to try and make something happen on every play. That can result in something big or can result in losing the football too.
Hey, no risk, no reward.
Exactly. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. 2nd and 18, Australia with the ball and a big lead.
Screen
pass. Stegman again looking for help. Throws it out of bounds. Good play. Good decision right there. Nothing there. Throw it away. Come back on 3rd down.
Good read there by the defense for South Korea. Nice job of sniffing out the initial screen. Comes back to the backside and just gets rid of the football.
Clock now down to 1:45 to go in the third quarter. Looking back on this, it's hard to believe that South Korea led in this game 6-0. They jumped out on an interception early, and Australia has fired back with 38 unanswered points to dominate this football game.
And they forced 2 back-to-back turnovers, 2 interceptions from Stegman early on in this game.
Right.
But he has done, as you said,
Didn't phase him.
Didn't phase him, not one bit. He just kept playing. I think that's having played in Germany. I think having been through those situations, he's been battle tested.
1:45 to go as Stegman goes back on 3rd and 18. Russia looking, and he's just going to go out of bounds and punt it away. Don't turn it over. That's the theme right now for Australia. Don't give South Korea any momentum. As you take a look at Jared Stegman coming off the field, and as any quarterback, when he doesn't score, he's probably not real happy.
He's not real happy, and he's going to be one of his hardest critics is himself. And I think this is going to be one of the first times today we're going to look at the Australian punt team.
Clock moving with 1:27, 1:26 to go in the third quarter.
Take a look at that second level wall, the three little bears back there, Joe. The three little bears aren't so little in the backfield, as they all average about 275 to 295.
Yeah, Damian Donaldson with the rush. He's going to kick it away. Pretty good kick. Ball taken at the 16-yard line, and the special unit for Australia is right there to answer.
Well, it's called special teams for a reason, because they are special, and they come up with some big plays there. As I believe it was number 88 getting in on the tackle for Australia. Trying to get the number there. That's number 88, Nightingale, and number 74, Radman, coming up to make the play for Australia.
The one thing that has impressed me all afternoon about Australia is their special teams. The return guys coming up, catching the football, covering kicks. They are fundamentally very sound.
Very sound. I think both teams are very fundamentally sound. I think the Australians, you can tell coming that week early, practicing at the University of Ashland, has maybe given them a little bit of an edge. As you take a look at the lonesome polecat formation we saw the South Koreans run earlier in the game.
Now, polecat may be something a lot of people around the world don't understand.
That's a little bit different. You can side snap it here. You can go to snap back to the quarterback, and they've done both so far.
This is Duck, who is going to try and get in space. Ball is loose, picked up by one of the South Koreans. Big offensive lineman, and he is down at the 19.
That is Sun Jun-woo, chance there to be a little bit of a hero. One of the few times he's going to get the opportunity to touch the football off the fumble, a little bit of a lineman's dream, and tries to do the best he can, making it back from the line of scrimmage. But good heads-up play there by Sun Jun-woo as he tries to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Same formation with a half a minute to go in the third. 2nd and 11 at the South Korea 19-yard line. Bad snap over his head down in the end zone. Can he get it out of there? That is going to be a safety. I tell you, he thought about throwing that out of there. Would have been a safety anyway, probably down in the football. Yeah. But looking over, and that's going to give Australia 2 more points and make it 40-6.
And sometimes when you get in that end zone and you look to throw the football there, try to get rid of it, dangerous things can happen. As you take a look at the turnover here, just a snap too far over the head, something we saw early on in the game from the South Koreans.
He thinks about throwing it out of here.
And just runs out of sideline.
Yep. So with 19 seconds left in the third quarter, it is 40-6 Australia, and we still have another full quarter to go before this one is finally in the books.
And Joe, we've seen it all today. We've seen field goals, PATs, touchdowns, extra points, everything, and now we've capped it off with a safety. See the teams for our second game today, Joe, getting ready to head into their locker rooms for warm-ups.
Brazil against France at 3:30. The United States against Mexico at 7 o'clock. As you take a look at Connor Foley, number 10. He's going to be back along with Jack Martin to try and return this South Korea kick after the safety. Should get real good field position right here. Kick it into the wind. Let's see what he gets. He says, hey, do I kick it now or do I wait?
Waiting for the whistle from the official.
I think I'll kick right now. End over end kick, and that is going to be coming down to Martin at the 21-yard line. Up the right seam. Looking for help. Goes to the sidelines. He's in midfield. Spins away, and he's going to have a good return to the South Korea 46-yard line.
Nice open field tackle there by number 85 for South Korea. That's Cheol coming up to make the could have been a touchdown saving tackle.
Boy, Jack Martin has been impressive since he came into the football game, along with Connor Foley, Tyson Garnham. All three of those Australia running backs are very, very good.
Well, I like the fact he's patient. He doesn't try to outrun his blockers. He's disciplined enough to let his blockers set up, and he does a very good job of reading his blockers. Just a very well-coached Australian football team.
Should be the final play of the third quarter. And South Korea with a sack. Back to the 45-yard line, and that'll be it. New quarterback in there. I think that's Whitehead, number 17. We'll check that after the break. But we have played 3 full quarters. Tom Benson Stadium, Canton, Ohio. We're back with the final 12 minutes right after this. Minutes of football left today in Canton, Ohio. Game number 1 of the 2015 IFAF World Championship of Football. And after an early 6-0 lead by South Korea, it has been all Australia. They lead at 40-6. New quarterback in there for Australia, number 17, Simon Whitehead. And Whitehead is going to be down on a huge loss back inside the 25. And I think they're going to put the football down at the 22.
And that's going to go close to a 25-yard loss for Whitehead, as he wanted to come out throwing right away his first play of the game and their first play. Total yard comparison, Joe.
I don't think I've seen a stat like that in a long time. Total yardage, Australia 327, South Korea -9.
And I'm going to have to look at the IFAF record books here to see what the record is for holding a team to a negative yardage in a game.
3rd and 42, Australia. Little bubble screen, throws it out there to Martin, and Martin's going to have short yardage, not nearly enough for the first down as he goes out of bounds at the 27-yard line, stops the clock with 11:06 to go in the football game.
Good confidence in the second-string quarterback here for Team Australia. Does a nice job completing a pass. I think we've got some massive substitutions coming in here, Joe.
Everybody wants to play, especially when it's 40-6. And the game's being televised back to Australia.
And worldwide.
Get me in there, Coach. Australia now going to kick it away. Kakua stands and booms it out of there. Good kick. Coming down to duck at the 31. He fumbles the football, and Australia again, with that good special teams play, is there to bring him down at the 31.
Going to see here if the South Koreans can get a little bit of their offense going this possession. Kim going to be at quarterback. Sticking with Kim here.
South Korea down big, 40-6. They have the ball first and 10 at their own 31. A lot of new numbers in there right now, but South Korea trying to get it going late. And again, that swarming Australian defense doesn't let them get into open space.
They're just all around the football. You see a lot of those gold helmets. Talking with the Australians, actually just to design the uniforms took about 7 or 8 months to get the right uniforms that they wanted. And now you see the South Korean team trying to go a little no huddle, trying to speed up, trying to get a little momentum back for their next game.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7 for South Korea, who led early 6-0. Kim going to throw over the middle and hammered, I'll tell you. Right there for Australia. To bring him down was number 5. That is Andrew Stevens at 246 pounds. Says, how do you do?
It lights him up, and as we've got another South Korean player injured down on the field. That looks to be number 81. That would be Junhoon N for the South Korean team as he's getting looked at by the trainers.
10:04 left to go in the game. Let's take a look at this, Troy. Watch the pop right here by Stevens.
A lot of these Australian players, talking with them, their background, a lot of them didn't start playing football up until they got to be 16, 17, 18 years old, had grown up playing either Aussie rules football or rugby, so they're used to that physical play. I know, talking with the Australian captain, Bradley Bennett, he joked that his buddies are the ones that talked him into playing football to put the pads on. He didn't feel a lot about pads. He was used to playing Aussie rules, but he likes the idea of playing with the pads, and he has a passion and love now for gridiron, for football.
3rd and 7, possession play for South Korea, although they may go on 4th down. Big rush, going to throw it out there. Duck has the ball. Here comes Australia's defense, and they swarm quickly with 1, 2, 3 gold shirts right there to make the tackle.
And they do a nice job of getting a lot of those, as you said, Joe, those gold jerseys, making the tackle. They hit them low. They never try to tackle high. They do a nice job of keeping their heads up. Come in, they hit him low. And Duck is a man, he's been punished a lot. He's taken a lot of hits today, but he just keeps popping up for this Korean team.
We talked early about the athleticism and the quickness of that South Korea defense. I'll tell you, right now, I would not trade anybody for that Australian defense. They are a tough group. They come at you quickly. Ball is punted and nearly blocked. I think they got a piece of that at midfield. And it goes out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Today's telecast, you cannot replay it, watch it again without written permission from IFAF. Copyright 2015 IFAF.
Well, the Australians are going to get pretty good field position here, Joe, after that partially blocked punt. They're going to get the ball at their own 48-yard line.
1st and 10. 48, Australia. Trying to make something happen again. Quarterback is Whitehead. Big hole. 30, 20, and that is going to be Martin still on his feet at the 10, the 5, the 3, touchdown. Oh my, what a great individual effort. Great. By Australia, no flags down, and that is a highlight tape right there. Excuse me, that was Connor Foley.
Connor Foley is going to be showing that one over and over and over again as he hits a big run here. He's going to break a couple of tackles. He does a nice job of reading his blockers, does a nice job of good vision downfield, makes some cuts. 1, 2, 3 missed tackles. Got a nice job, cuts to the outside just when you think he might go out of bounds. Nope. He's going to break another tackle up there, makes a guy miss, breaks another tackle. Why not make that number 6? And he finally just drags the defender all the way into the end zone, Joe.
52-yard touchdown run by Connor Foley, and it's 46-6 Australia. As a South Korean player, looks like he has cramps maybe over there at about the 8-yard line. Now he gets up and is going to walk off the field.
And part of it, as you said, Joe, that heat, that humidity today, got a little bit of a rain. It looks like it stopped here, and that could be a factor as we go on today with 2 more football games to play, one at 3:30, another one at 7. The United States team coming on at 7, the opening ceremonies. Just a great day for football here in Canton, Ohio.
Eddie Kakwa, who has been perfect today, continues his expert kicking. Kick is up and good, and it's 47-6 Australia.
It is, and Joe, the Australians are gone on a 47 to 6-0, and you can tell the Australians also brought some rain gear, ready for this Ohio weather. It's interesting, the Australian fans, South Korean fans you see there. None of the Australians that I talked to had ever seen snow at all. And changing the seasons coming up here, this is actually their winter back in Australia for it to be our summer.
For Australia, one play, 52-yard run by Connor Foley. Kick was good. 9 minutes left in the football game. All Australia, 47-6.
And I think you're seeing that the depth of this Australian team putting in their second, third string guys, and they're coming in and they're making plays. And they're expected to come in and make plays, and that's what you want. Somebody goes down, you just say next man up, and they're expected to pick up the load.
And you would expect with a country with a mascot of a kangaroo, they'd be pretty good at kicking.
Oh, they're battling. They're the Outback, and they like to go with that. National pride on the line, trying to get a little bit of revenge from a few years ago against the South Koreans. And they have come ready to play, and they're focused.
Eddie Kakwa will kick it away. End over end. Coming down to Kim, who fumbles the football at the 11. They go back and pick it up. Australia trying to cover it, and they do. They're hammered at the 11-yard line. I think the ball came loose again. Australia out there having fun right now.
And that was Malloy again coming up to make the play. Damon Malloy again making big plays.
Number 6, he has been in on a lot of tackles today.
Plays for the Gulf Coast Stingrays. But right here, the initial punt gets fumbled, and they just kind of looks at it like, you, me, I'm not quite sure what we should do. Finally, it does get picked up, but Malloy just comes, sheds his block, comes right down to make the play from the backside.
Trailing to play and comes in and makes the hit with 8:51 to go in the football game.
Here's that competitive attitude Coach Latte talked about yesterday off camera, about how in Australia sport, you are there to compete every single play.
Kim, the quarterback, back at his 13-yard line, going to throw a little screen out there. Breaks the tackle and is going to be about 3 yards short of the first down at the 21-yard line.
They keep him in bounds, and that's going to keep the clock moving.
8:35 left to go. It'll be second and short yardage for South Korea at their own 21-yard line.
South Korea still going through no huddle attack. Australians playing a little bit deeper now, a little bit of cover 2.
Kim going to throw over the middle, caught, going to be a first down, and now goes backwards, and let's see if they give him forward progress. I think they're going to give him the first down.
Yeah, it looks like he got right across as he drug right back across the field. Nice job, though. Good pursuit from the Australian defense, trying to keep everything in front and inside, stringing the play out to make the tackle.
Yeah, they're moving the chains across the way. That will be a South Korea first down. Ball to the 24-yard line, under 8 minutes to play.
Kim looks like he's barking out the calls, maybe making an adjustment at the line of scrimmage.
Going to throw. Here comes the rush. Oh, he's got some quick feet. And Australia again on that outstanding defense comes with the hit. And that's going to be the big guy again, Stevens, number 5 at 5'9", 246.
Does a nice job of moving out there on the field from Port Adelaide, plays for the Port Adelaide Spartans. Does a nice job moving, agility side to side. Does a nice job of making the tackle.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Ball still at the 24-yard line. Kim's going to throw again, sideline pass, and that falls short at the 32-yard line.
And I think he might have got hit just as he was getting ready to release the football, Joe, in the backfield.
Trying to find Kim Byung at the 32.
Once again, good defensive effort here by the Australian. Now their front line, some new bodies up front, trying to get a good pass rush in there. You know, they've got some numbers switched, some jersey numbers, so we might not have quite everybody that's on this roster.
47-6. Australia ready to move into the winner's bracket as the flag goes down just as the play begins.
Joe, what are other matchups here today?
Well, we've got a good one coming up at 3:30 as we take a listen to the official.
Offense, 17. 5-yard penalty. Still further.
5-yard penalty. It looked like it was Kim Jong, the wide receiver, that was ahead of the snap. 3:30, we're going to have France against Brazil. Then at 7 o'clock tonight, the United States against Mexico. And I've heard a lot of good things about the offense of Mexico, wide open. Of course, down in Mexico City, they are all Dallas Cowboy fans. They love the Cowboys down there. Kim on the run. Boy, he's going to throw that one up for grabs, and it is picked off and then dropped.
It's going to be it's going to be incomplete there. That's number 13, Mitrovic, trying to make the interception. Can't come down with it. Going to bring up a punting situation.
Yeah, 4th and 15. Worth one more look, Troy. Again, it looks like it's going to be a jump ball. And Kim took a pop as soon as he let that one go.
You could tell he turned his shoulders a little bit just to get rid of the football. But you talked about the Mexican team, Joe. They brought up their own news crew, a radio station as well. And I looked at some of those players from Mexico, and if you would have said, hey, those guys they have NFL frames, some of their linemen. So a very good team coming up here from Mexico.
Good kick. Impressive punt. Coming down to the 39-yard line. It looked like Martin was the guy that bringing it back. Or was that Tyson Garno?
Looked like Shun Jae and Sub in there to make the tackle for the South Koreans.
And that was Donaldson, number 22, back on the punt team for Australia. So 6:39 now left in the football game. 47-6 Aussies. And let's see who comes out to run this Australian offense.
Right now at the point you just want to try to make sure you've gotten everyone in.
Nobody gets hurt.
Nobody gets hurt. You don't want any injuries. Keep your timing up. Chance here to get some rep, develop some depth for your team as well.
Luke Jackson, number 26, in at running back right now for Australia. I think the quarterback is going to stay Simon Whitehead, number 17 it is. He's going to throw the football. Going deep and nearly picked off. It is on a nice reception. Boy, big pick right there. And coming down with the football for South Korea, that was number 3. And that kid made an outstanding catch on the run.
Huck Young-suk there to come in for the interception. Nice job of rotating from the backside to get that pick and give the ball back to the South Koreans.
Well, he's got some good hands here, Troy. Let's watch Whitehead again.
Whitehead does a nice job standing tall in the pocket. Just throws it, but once again, good coverage here by the South Koreans, something the Australians haven't been able to go deep. Most of their big pass plays have actually only been like 5-7 yard passes, but they managed to run for another 30 or 40 yards. When they go deep, that's when the South Koreans have been there to defend.
First and 10 at the 20-yard line. South Korea down big, 47-6 with the football. Handoff right up the middle. Again, they are down big and continue to run the football. This time it's about a 4-yard gain, maybe 5 to the 24.
One thing, if you're South Korea, you want to make sure you don't wear down your guys for the next game. Maybe try to get some fresh players in there. Give your guys a little bit of a break. See what the subs can do. See your second string guys. See how they can come out and play for you, trailing 47-6.
6 minutes left in the football game. It's 47-6. Australia. They will move on in the winner's bracket. South Korea will try and regroup for game number 2 here in Canton. Continue to run the football, and Australia continues to swarm to it.
Just a great defensive front here by the Australians.
There haven't been many one-on-one tackles for Australia. These guys come as a group. Good gang tackling, and every defensive coach loves to see 11 guys run into the football.
Well, what's nice for the Australians is their defensive linemen do a nice job of absorbing the double teams. And when your defensive tackle, your defensive nose guard, when they're getting double teamed, that frees up that linebacker to rove sideline to sideline and make plays.
3rd and 2 for South Korea at their own 28. Going to throw for it. Boy, looking for somebody. Now he throws, and a flag goes down right in the middle of the pack. Could be holding, could be a face mask. Let's see what they call.
And Joe, we talked about it. International style play, you're always looking to make the big play. Some quarterbacks would have gone down. Some American quarterbacks would have just thrown it away. Not the South Koreans. Kim just hangs in the pocket, hangs in the pocket. That's a lot of confidence. As I'm a quarterback, I'm going to come out and I'm going to make the play, and I've got confidence in my wide receivers to get open.
Officials huddling, and the flag is at the 21-yard line. And here we go.
Personal foul. Hand to the face. Defense. Number 80. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, hands up high. They're going to call a slap to the head on Australia, and that's going to move the football ahead and give South Korea first down.
And that's going to be on number 80, Bradley Bennett, one of the Australian captains.
Going to push the ball up to the 43-yard line, where South Korea will have it 1st and 10.
He wants to get some of that rough play out before his wife and son come up later on this weekend.
Well, I would hope so. The rain that we had a little while ago is now gone, and it is still muggy, wind still blowing, but no rain.
But there's a little bit of blue right over the stadium, Joe.
That's exactly right. Always blue over a football stadium.
Always a great day to play football.
Right up the right side again, trying to cut the corner, and a good one-on-one tackle.
The Australians do a great job there. Number 88 for Australia. That's Nightingale. He does a great job of fighting off his block, keeping his leverage, keeping his outside arm free, and just scrapes. And look how they stretch this play out. This initially is supposed to go right out tackle. He's got to bounce the outside. He's forced to go laterally. Great shot there. Great camera work for number 88 Nightingale to make a textbook open field tackle.
4:21 left to go in the football game, and South Korea has it 2nd and 10 at their own 43. Duck is the running back, and again over the left side, pretty good yardage, gets about 5, and the clock continues to run.
And Joe, you know, the Australians are leading 47-6, but you can't tell what the score is by watching both of these teams play, by watching how they compete and still trying to make big plays, especially the South Koreans. They just keep battling, and this Australian defense, Joe, is very, very stubborn.
Ball up at the 48-yard line. Again, a 3rd down play. This time they need 5 to keep those chains moving across the way.
And the sun's getting even a little bit more brighter here for our second game, Joe.
That's exactly right. France against Brazil, scheduled to kick off at 3:30, 7 o'clock tonight. The United States against Mexico. Handoff right up the middle, and that is not going to get anywhere close to a first down. Very short yardage. Going to bring up a 4th, and again 5 yards to go, and let's see what the South Korean coach Baer wants to do.
It looked like that was supposed to go to 44 Hung on a little bit of a trap there, but nothing doing. Has a nice job of squeezing it in. As you get a good look there at Coach Latte for the Australians. And Joe, you talk about France, and we think of Europeans playing football, you know, it's probably happened recently. But for the French, almost 100 years of football. The first football game played in France, 1919. So a rich, strong tradition for the French nationals.
4th and 6, they say, why not? Let's go for it. We're down 47-6. Let's try and keep the offense on the field.
Counter.
Little counter play, trying to get to the outside, and not going to get close to the first down. They're going to be about 2 yards short, and Australia will get the football back with 2:24 left to go in the football game.
Doesn't get the first down, but a nice job of reading his block, letting his backside guard and tackle. As you're going to see the right and left guard and tackle pull here. Front side's going to block down. You see the counter tray action. Does a nice job of patience. Falls big number 65 Hyung for the South Koreans. Just doesn't get enough for the first down.
Injured Australian player. There's not been a lot of Aussies go down today. As you take a look at the kangaroo mascot for Australia. Boy, that looks familiar.
And if you take a good look at the helmet of Australia, you'll see the kangaroo on it as well. And this Australia team, they came to send a message, and they wanted to prove themselves on the national stage.
That was number 6, Damian Malloy, who went down but right back up. He has been impressive, he's been tough, and he's been in on a lot of tackles. As you take a look at the helmet, of Australia. As we said, the University of Akron, just about 20 minutes to the north, also has an Australian theme with a mascot that's a kangaroo, Zippy the kangaroo.
Zippy the kangaroo. The Aussies should feel right at home.
Exactly. Big hole on the right side. And again, those Australian running backs do not go down.
Well, they keep their feet moving. They keep their shoulders moving forward. They get that forward body lean, but they keep churning the feet. On that initial contact, you should take a look there at Jackson, number 26 out of Brisbane. He does a nice job off the initial hit. He accelerates his feet, and that is hard to teach players to do. And these Australian running backs do it very, very well.
Less than 2 minutes now in the football game. 1st and 10 on a big first down run by Jackson. Whitehead going to give it ahead, and that looks like Martin is the guy that has the football there.
Or it looked like it might have been Jackson
Luke
again.
Jackson again, number 25.
Yeah, number 26, 6'1", 209 pounds.
A lot of different bodies in there right now for Australia. You would expect that with the big lead. Everybody wanted to get in, get a taste of football here at Tom Benson Stadium. Get ready for round number 2. And we are down to maybe 2 or 3 plays left in game number 1 of the 2015 IFAF World's Tournament of Football.
And we'll be bringing you round number 2 as well.
Yep, sure will. Jared Stegman started for Australia. He went most of the way, and now Simon Whitehead is in there at quarterback. Whitehead going to throw, and that pass intended for Grant McNaughton, the big 6'4", 233-pound wide receiver.
Just trying to be a timing pattern there. Give credit to the South Korean defense. What they're playing the secondary, their physicality, bust up the timing route on that, and they just can't seem to hook up. Good defensive play by the South Koreans.
That stops the clock with 56 seconds left. 3rd and 9 at the South Korea 38-yard line as the Aussies say, hey, we'd love to get in the end zone one more time. Why not?
One more time, somebody else wants to get on that highlight reel.
There you go. Whitehead going to throw, and now he says, I'm going to tuck it in and going to go down after a 2-yard gain.
He wants that chance to get on the in the game as we've got the MVP announced, as they do an MVP for both teams, Joe.
And without any surprise, the MVP of Australia is going to be the quarterback, number 3, Jared Stegman, and for South Korea, linebacker Bong Du-yo, number 50.
50. We've called his name a bunch tonight, making some great tackles.
Looking into the South Korea bench, Bear, the coach, is going to have to now get their confidence back, get them ready for round number 2.
Yeah, you've got to refocus. You've got to get the body language back up. You've got to get the confidence. When they go and watch film tonight, and they will, they're going to break down the film. They're going to see what they did wrong. They're going to see what they did right. You got to put this game out of your mind. Take care of it, put it away, and you've got to refocus, compartmentalize it, and get ready for your next game.
Australia trying to get 11 players on the field. Finally, they got a full unit, and we're ready to go.
Got to make sure they all get up on the line of scrimmage as well.
Exactly. And that's what they're trying to find out right now. And I'm not sure everybody was up on the line of scrimmage.
Well, the other day at practice, they were a little bit confused on their special teams.
5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Now they're going to cost them 5 yards.
It's interesting watching all the different teams, how they prepared, watching the Australian, the French, the Brazilians, the Mexicans. Watching the U.S. team was big on, okay, this guy's out. Who's our next sub? Know who it is. Boom. Switch in and out. Everyone's got to be interchangeable. Everyone's got to know their role.
Fair catch called for and caught at the 25-yard line.
Nice catch there by number 89,
yeah.
Sang Hong Kim for the South Koreans.
Good hands. 36 seconds left now. And let's see if South Korea just runs a play or two and we get out of here. Time for football in less than an hour again with France and Brazil.
Joe, I don't think they will. I think they're going to try to keep trying to score. They're here to play football.
Well, they got trips up high, single receiver down low. And Kim's going to throw. Sidelines and short. Drop there at the 39-yard line.
Good read, saw he had one-on-one coverage away from the bunch formation. Just a little bit low on the pass. Nice decision by Kim, though.
Down to 31 seconds left to go. 47-6. Starting to cloud up again here in Canton, Ohio.
As that rain holds off, we'll be good.
Kim again going to throw. Throws, has a man out there. It's tipped and incomplete. Little sideline route there, and had pretty good coverage underneath and on top by Australia.
Yep, the first game here, the IFA World Championships, and they've done a great job creating a great atmosphere for football. Bringing in all these teams from across the world. Changed up, originally supposed to be in Sweden, got transferred here to Canton, Ohio on short notice. They've put this together, and just a great job by IFA bringing the World Football Championships. And Joe, we're glad we can be here with you for these football championships as well.
Of course, football here in America starts in about a month and a half, so nice to get an early dose of football here in northeastern Ohio. Kim going to throw deep and has a man out there and has the football. Good catch, good throw. Ball pops loose late, and they're going to call it complete at the 27-yard line.
And that's going to be Sang-Hong Kim with a big reception for the South Koreans. By far, their biggest completion of the game.
And we're going to take one more look at that, I think, and see if that indeed was a complete pass. Kim is going to roll out, Troy. And pretty good arm, boy. This is a good throw.
He's right-handed, rolling to his left.
And let's see if that's a good catch or not. Ruling was he caught the football. And they're going to spot it right there on a big play by South Korea late in this football game with 17 seconds left. One more look, Troy.
We can bring it to you just about every angle you can want. And this is just a great concentration. Reels it in, makes a couple of football moves. As he goes down, pops out at the end there.
Yeah, his knees were down. That's a good call.
But I like what I see. Great catch there. Great catch. Great concentration by the South Koreans, number 89, Sang-Hong Kim, making the play. But watch these secondary players, these linebackers, strong safeties, corners for Australia. When they make the tackle, they are always reaching to strip that football. And you get taught that, you get coached that. And that's something hard to coach, especially for a lot of these players who've been playing football for maybe 5 or 6 years and didn't start till they were 16, 17, 18 years old. That's hard to get American players to do who've been playing for 12 or 13 years.
17 seconds left in game number 1. This one was 6-0 South Korea at the end of the first quarter. And since then, Australia has scored 47 straight points. They led it 24-6 at the half, 40-6 after 3. One more touchdown here in the fourth, and it's 47-6, Troy, and they have been impressive on both sides of the football.
Both sides of the football. You look at Coach Latte there. He's going to be talking with his staff. Okay, what can we improve upon and what can we get ready for? I know talking with him, he wasn't sure what he was going to see out of the South Korean team. He didn't know what to expect. They'd seen him a little bit on film, but when you're an international play, you just don't know for sure how everyone's going to come out and how they're going to react. And obviously it's the same thing talking with Bear, the South Korean coach. He wasn't exactly sure what he was going to see out of the Australians to try to adjust some things. And this is a big day for every team to get to see how everyone else plays. The only team that's not playing today is Japan. And Japan, I believe, played their first. They've been playing football since in the 40s. So they've got a rich tradition of about 70 to 80 years of football in Japan, as now the reins have pretty much opened up, Joe.
Yeah, the rain coming down here at Tom Benson Stadium. As you take a look at the injured player who made a great reception, Troy. Came down with it, got hit, had it long enough.
That's great concentration. That's not an easy catch to make.
No, it wasn't.
And that was good defense as well. Great job there by that young man. South Korea seeing if they can put one in the end zone.
Yeah, Young with the reception. And let's see if South Korea can get one more score as the rain is coming down very, very hard here in Canton, Ohio. Kim, the quarterback, taking a look at that Australian defense. Going to throw. Now he's going to run it, and down he goes at the 32-yard line. And South Korea says, why not? Let's call a timeout with 10 seconds left to go in the football game.
Taking a little bit of the weather here, work on a few things. I saw as soon as that play happened, Bear was calling the timeout. He was coming out. He's going to say, here's the situation, guys. What do we want to run? So I got 10 seconds. You know, they've still got some timeouts, at least 2 more plays.
Well, it has been a great performance by Australia today. And I think other teams in this tournament have also been impressed. I see the coaches are here taking a look, scouting, getting ready to maybe take on one of these two teams. If you're in the winner's bracket, it'll be Australia. South Korea will go into the loser's bracket with a chance maybe to fight their way out of that. Kim going to throw. Should be the final play of the game. And the ball pops loose. Kim picks it up, and he's going to be down at the 40-yard line, and that is it. No timeouts, no time on the clock. Our final score today, Australia 47, South Korea 6. Troy, after that first interception by South Korea to take it into the end zone, boy, Australia, as you said, talked to the coach, no quit in the Aussies. They came back 47 straight unanswered points to win this one very impressively.
Yeah, they kept battling back. Let's not forget, not just down 6-0, they had 2 turnovers on their first possession.
Hey, it's been great doing this one. Glad you were here to watch it. Our final score today in Game 1 of the 2015 FIFA Tournament, 47 Australia, 6 Korea. Joe Dunn for Troy Richardson. Thanks for watching.